Hey, welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG. What did my sound not go off? Oh, for God's sake, what's happening now? Jesus Christ, my audio button's not working. There it goes. But you guys can't hear that, right? Where's my is it coming through? There we go. I was like, where's my clapping? Where's my clapping? Good morning, everybody. I am 30NSG, and this is the Daily Grind. We're here Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Steam Deck. There's an article about the Steam Deck, about the shortages. They're going to tell us why the shortages are happening. We're going to read that, give you my thoughts and opinions on that, and then we get your thoughts and opinions as well. Then we're going to talk about Cyberpunk running on phones. Okay, yes, I know Cyberpunk's a couple years old now. 3 years old? 4 years old? Is it 4 years already? Jesus. Okay. Actually, is it older than that? Is it 5 years old? It's 5 years old. It took 3 years to fix it. Anyway, it's running on cell phones now, so we're going to have that conversation as well. And then we're going to watch Legendary Drop's video talking about how the industry is always blaming us, and I'm just tired of it. I know you guys are tired of it. We say it all the time on this show. There's a song about it, okay? Stop buying broken, buggy games, okay? It's their problem, not ours. So stop giving your money up front. Wait for the game to come out, see if it's good or not, and then let's get everything back into the order that it used to be back in the day. Like I said, if you guys like what we do here, oh, is it going to work? I'm waiting. What in the hell? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Aku, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Okay. In a Trump voice, which I cannot do, it says, "We hear everything. It's beautiful." I don't know why it's not working. I'm completely confused on why my TTS is not working. It literally worked yesterday. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on here. I don't understand. We've got the alert box, which is that. We got the audio, which is this. Audio, properties. I mean, that's it. I don't understand. It was literally working yesterday when I don't get it. So don't use that. Don't use the TTS. Just use it's super chat's a super chat, but I appreciate it. I don't know why it's not working. So we're gonna have to try to get that fixed. Let's move on. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Again, we hear everything. It's beautiful. Okay, appreciate you. You don't need to work on it. Later, just remove it and reinstall it. Is that what it is? But I have removed it. I removed the whole thing and then reinstalled it. Here, I'm going to take this down because I don't want people. I mean, people can still do the bottom one, but there we go. All right. Let's start off with, where is it? We got the Steam. Talking about Steam, Valve breaks its silence on the Steam Deck OLED scarcity, and yes, it's because of the RAM and shortage crisis. We do this Monday through Thursday. We just cover news stories, have conversations, get you through a couple of hours of your day. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share our small community here, tweet it out, share it on YouTube. Give it to your enemies. If you hate somebody, you're like, this guy, I hate this guy. I'm gonna send them 30 because that's how much I think about them. So Valve breaks the silence on the Steam Deck OLED scarcity, and yes, it's because of the RAM and shortage crisis. It says reports last week that the Steam Deck is sold out in the United States. Prompt speculations ranging somewhere through the outlandish, but actual reason is simple. You've likely already guessed it. That's the rest of the game industry. Valve has also been hit with memory crisis. Now, quote, Steam Deck OLED may be out of stock intermediately in some regions due to memory or storage shortages. Valve now acknowledges it on Steam, the Steam Deck store page, confirming that the handhelds Scarcity can be blamed on the same phenomenon that is also delayed of the Steam machine. Jacked up RAM, SSD prices, and threatens to stutter many of the electronic manufacturers. I was at Best Buy last night, and you could still buy a Steam Deck. What I think's happening is the people that have stock, they're gonna take it off the shelves, keep it off the shelves for a little bit, wait for them to say, hey, the stock's back in, and then they're just gonna have a higher price. I think that's what's going to happen. Jack the RAM, SSD prices, and threatens to stutter many of the electronic manufacturers. Even if the likes of Sony and Nintendo are being hit hard, Sony is considering pushing back its next-gen console until far as 2029, while Nintendo is considering a price increase on the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, 2029, that's 9 years. That's 2 years less than the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, as Sarge always says, right? 11 years we've had those consoles, and nobody complained back then. Okay. At the time of writing this, all the Steam Deck OLED models remain available in the UK and Australia. While the Steam machine is still on track to release in the first half of 2026, Valve hoped to announce the price of a firmer release date by now. But the memory shortages, or storage shortages, you'll likely heard about across the industry have rapidly increased since then. Valve wrote last week that the limited availability of growing prices and these critical components mean that we've revisited our exact shipping schedules and pricing, especially around the Steam machine and the Steam frame. The crisis has everything to do with the AI industry greedy demands for memory. So next time you're watching a Gemini-generated reel about your giant Norwegian forest cat eating live cartoon tuna while raising Manhattan, you'll also know who to blame. To understand the crisis is a full detail, Jacob Fox, RAM shortage explainer, is a great resource. So, yes, we love to make our own pain, right? Because more people are using AI, the more reason these places are using more RAM, more usage, more cloud, more everything, more power. Because, well, we're being entertained. Are you not entertained, chat? Are you not entertained by the Godzilla-sized cat wreaking havoc on the city going, man, that looks good? Are you not entertained by the polar bear interviewing someone on the news? Are you not entertained of the babies having a podcast? I mean, come on. Don't be selfish. Enjoy what you enjoy. So that's what's happening there with the OLED. Now, they finally spoke out and said, look, the OLED shortages it's all about the RAM shortages, right? I mean, that's what it is. We can't stop that, right? They're making the problem, make the problem, sell the solution, right? So what do you guys think? Do you think the OLED, are you guys, first of all, are any of you guys in the chat in the market for a Steam Deck? How many of you were looking to buy a Steam Deck, or how many of you have a Steam Deck right now? Okay. And are you willing to wait to buy the current gen, right? Or the OLED? Like, are you going out to the store right now? You're leaving. You're like, oh my God, Best Buy still has them, and running out the door to try to get one? Or are you like, you know what? I didn't need it before. I definitely don't need it now, right? So what do you guys think about this whole supply chain? Now, obviously the supply chain is there. They're making the shortage, not Steam, just the RAM companies, because they're going full on to the businesses and not going towards the actual consumer. They're making the shortage. Nintendo used to do this in the past. They still do it, right? They make the thing hold back. They tell you that they're short on stuff, shortage. It makes this rampant, go out, try to stir up the public to go buy the thing. Then it looks like it's sold out. So when it comes back in, people go out for it and it keeps it going, right? They haven't done that this much this time with Switch 2, because Switch 2 you can pick up anywhere right now. There's no shortage of it. But as far as this, remember, Steam, their margins are not thin. They can take a loss, right? Because they're a very efficient company. So what do you guys think about this whole ordeal about now Steam Deck and now the Steam machine when it comes out? Let me go to chat and see what you guys have to say here. Waterbear says, I paid $200 for the 64 gig DDR5 RAM. That's the same RAM now as 900 plus. What's going on, Argus? I have the most expensive version of the LCD Steam Deck. Are you looking to upgrade to the OLED? Waterbear says, Steam Deck. Nope. Waiting for the Steam machine. I had the Steam Deck for 4 days, and I returned it. Wasn't impressed. El Dente says, I feel the same about the Steam Deck that I do about the Switch. If I'm gifted one, I'll use it, but I don't want one. That's actually, I totally understand that, right? Like, if I don't need it, but if I got it, like if someone gifted to me birthday, Christmas, I'd be like, oh, thank you very much. Like, I would play it, but I'm not going out to get it myself. Aku says if this is released 1 to 2 years after Xbox, they will have more issues. If they release 1 to 2 years after Xbox, they will have more issues. What do you mean by that? You want to elaborate on that a little bit, Aku? As far as why, if they release, you're saying, this is what I think you're saying. You're saying if, because the Xbox is out and now Steam Deck comes out, if Xbox gets to the market, I guess, faster, Steam's going to have more competition because Xbox, you can be able to play all the games and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying? Arga says, but I don't have interest in the OLED model because I already have the Xbox ROG Ally X, which is the most powerful PC handheld on the market already. Aku says, Steam Deck is meh. I have the ROG Ally, and it's a better platform. There you go. I mean, Argus said it, and then Aku said it. I've never played it. I haven't played it, so... What's the price? It's pretty pricey, man, for a handheld. $1,000, right? That's what they're about going for? $600, $700, and the top one's $1,000? Altered says, I have a Steam Deck, and if it wasn't for the carry bag included, it would be gathering dust. Oh, so you're not even using it, Altern. It's in a carrying case. If it didn't have a carrying case, it would have dust all over it. I gotcha. Aku says 30 the combo from above from Sony's releases. All right, hold on one second. Let me scroll back up. It released 1 to 2 years after Xbox. Steam Deck has already had the ROG Ally as a better platform. I'm decked out with the RAM issue is causing problems. Sony needs to have a new console with the new architecture. They can't do too much with the PlayStation 5 and current. Oh, so you're not saying Steam. You're saying the actual problem for Sony, not Steam versus Xbox. You're saying Xbox. Gotcha. I thought that was weird. I was like, but yeah, but Steam's already out there. I gotcha. Yeah, look, Steam. This is a bad time for Steam to get into the hardware market, right? They can't win. The last time they got into the market, it didn't go so well with them for the hardware. And now they're back into the hardware, but they lose out because of the RAM issues. Okay. When was the last time they came to the market? Was that 12 years ago? It's like 12 years ago when they came in with the other the hardware. I forget what it was called. Steam Link or something like that, right? Now they're back in the market, and now obviously Steam is very profitable. They don't really need to sell the Steam Deck. They don't really need to do anything else because, and maybe this is why Steam is teaming up with Microsoft and Microsoft is teaming up with Asus, because they're like, well, why do we need to make the hardware? I talked about this months and months and months ago. Why make the hardware? Okay, like why is Xbox going to make their own handheld, especially when the stuff is going high, when there's already people making handhelds? Why is Steam trying to get into the market when now the prices are so high? They don't really need to get into the market for the hardware. They could just stay where they are. They could take Steam and put it on PlayStation. They could take Steam and put it on Xbox. They can, you know what I mean? They don't need to do what they're doing. They're doing it because they can, because they're so profitable. At least that's the way I look at it. So I don't really think Steam, I mean, obviously Steam's affected by this because they want to get in the hardware market, and they're like, this is kind of putting a wrench in the gears here. But technically, they don't really need to be. Uh-oh, my chat's not updating here. There it goes. Let's see. Eclipse says, I have a Steam Deck OLED, and I can't go back. I wish the Microsoft handheld was OLED. It's not worth the price if it's not OLED. Alter says the issue with all of this is a handheld is battery life, and the Steam Deck takes like 2 hours to charge, and the battery goes down in 1 hour. That's my biggest thing with always handhelds, even with the cell phone. Right? We're going to talk about cell phones in a little bit, but cell phones are the same way. Right? Hell, even anything portable, even the what the hell is it called? The Oculus, okay, or the Meta, whatever you want to call it. Right? The battery life on these things doesn't last very long. You might get 2-3 hours. Now, obviously, from a gamer perspective, you want it to last like 6, 7, 8 hours. But really, the hour, 2 hours, and then you have to, like, I don't know, pull away from the phone and then go do something else and then come back later is actually pretty healthy. But as a gamer, you're like, 2 hours, that's not enough. 1 hour, definitely not enough. Argus says, yeah, the performance-wise, I would not consider any Steam Deck if you're looking to also play like PvP games or mainstream games. Its performance is not impressive. Aku says they need to ignore the hardware and make Half-Life 3. You mad, bro? Roadkill says, once PlayStation comes out with a legit handheld, it'll be number one in the class. Sure, Roadkill. But the problem is exactly what Altern said and what everyone else said above, right? If it doesn't have an OLED, if the battery life is bad, if the price is too high, if the RAM, it doesn't really matter it would actually be a stupid move to come out with a handheld device from the main, like, again, Xbox is not making their own handheld. They teamed up with Asus. If Sony is making their own handheld device, it might sell well, but it's going to be super expensive. And guess what? The last handheld that they came out with, which is the Portal, it didn't sell very well, even though everyone thought it sold very well. Eclipse says, like the Vita? Oh, wait. Jack says, but if they can get someone who isn't a PC guy to buy it, isn't that a win? Sure, but the person that didn't buy a PC, Jax, to spend $1,000, over $1,000 for a handheld device, they didn't buy a PC because that was too expensive. So now you think they're going to buy a handheld device? Now, if I have to buy a handheld device, again, you're talking about a person that's not a PC guy. So a person that's not a PC guy is probably not a tech guy. And if they're looking to buy something, are they going to buy the Nintendo? Or are they going to buy the Steam Deck? Or are they going to buy the Asus? Nintendo's $500 right now. Steam Deck, when it's in stock, $600, $700, $1,000, and then so on and so forth. Roadkill says the Logitech G Cloud, I can play that thing for 30 hours before it dies, probably longer. What does that price go for, Roadkill? How much does that cost? Waterbear says, since it's cloud gaming now, the Portal is my go-to mobile device. Well, yeah, because it's what, $200? $250? Now, 18 months after it came out. Think about that. Think about that for a second, Water. The Portal, which was less than $250, $200? Is that 200, 250, whatever it was, right? $200, and nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. But yet people are buying the Asus ROG Ally X, and people are going out and buying the Steam Deck for $600, $700. But no one bought the PlayStation Portal. Why? I don't know. I think the Portal sold well. What are the numbers? Amazing. It's only $199. It sold less than 2 million copies, Roadkill. Less than 2 million. Right? Remember, when it first came out, it didn't have the Wi-Fi capability. It was an early beta or whatever it was, like 8 months afterwards. Okay? And when it came out, it was cheap. But the only way you could own a Portal is if you owned a PlayStation. So to own a Portal, you had to buy a PlayStation. And to buy a PlayStation, you had to spend $500, $600. And then you had to buy the Portal for another $200. Waterbear says, now they're selling like warm cakes, not hot cakes. I don't know. Last time I went to, or actually the last couple times I went to Costco, over the holidays, they were on sale. I told you guys about it. I posted it in the Discord. They were on sale. They were going for, I think it was like $170. And it was coming with a case. It was coming with the Portal. It was coming with a couple of accessories or whatever. And that pallet was packed. No one was buying it. No one was buying it. Or buy a tablet and attach a controller, and there you go. I have a DIY PlayStation Portal. Yeah, I mean, I play on my cell phone when I travel. I'm not a big portal guy, you know what I mean? Roadkill says, millions of people bought the Portal. I don't know what you're talking about, actually. It was less than 2 million people. Less than 2 million people bought it. We've gone this. I'm not going to rehash this. If you want, go back about a year ago, and you can go to those videos that I made. No, that's the buying of them brand new. Everyone's getting the used because everyone's done with them. Yeah, but used is already sold. So if I bought a Portal and then someone bought my Portal from me, that's not 2 Portals sold. That's 1 Portal sold twice. Look, Water Bear didn't even buy it new. Water didn't even buy it new. He bought it used. Like, think about that. $200. And people are like, nah, that's not worth it. Roadkill says, yeah, but now they've unlocked the feature. Guarantee by the end of the year, the Portal will show a lot more. I mean, I guess. So we're just going to move. We're going to move the goalpost. We're moving the goalpost, Roadkill. So now you said that they sold a lot and they didn't. But now you're saying by the end of the year, they might. Bro, come on now. Come on now. Jason says, bring back the Vita. Probably one of the best handhelds. Oh, no, it was the PSP? What was the one in early 2000, 2001, 2002? Was it the Vita? That was the PSP. Portable handhelds aren't really a thing because the people that have the phones already in hand. Yeah. I never buy used electronics. You can barely trust new products, let alone used ones. PSP was the first one. That's the one I used to play on. I used to play it in early 2000. It was 2001. I remember when I used to work at the movie theater, on my break, I would pull it out of my backpack and I would play it. I would play the baseball game. Aku says, at least my ROG, I did a stick mod. And the whole effect stick, so I won't ever get stick drift. Crowded says the Vita was better, but nobody bought it. So was it better? Was it better? The PSP was the best handheld of its day, but you never, they can use it like the portable emulation machine. So good. But I bought it for like $60. Oh, I bought a Portal. I've used it once. Bought it for $60. And I feel like you're still not impressed with the $60 that you paid for. Well, the problem with that, Jason, if a thing doesn't sell well, they don't support it. Do you know what I mean? Like they were, how long did they support the PlayStation 2 for? How long did they support the PlayStation 3 for? Do you know what I mean? PlayStation 2 was supported for a really, really long time. PlayStation 3, not so much. PlayStation 4, supported a really long time. No, I understand, Aku. It was the best handheld, but was it? You know what I mean? If it was so good, then how come no one bought it? Alterm says I gave more to a $10 game than that $60 PlayStation Portal. Crowd says I still have a brand new 3DS that never used. Oh my God. What'd you buy it for? Did you buy it for to collect or collect dust? I guess either way you're collecting something. All right, the next story we're going to talk about here. Next story. Hold on one second. All right. We've got high-end. We got a high-end. Android phones are now powerful enough to emulate the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077. A YouTuber gets 2020's hottest PC game running on a playable frame rate on a Red Magic 11 Pro. Now, I know what you're saying, right? As you guys argued about handheld devices and you said, I love them, and the Vita was the best, and the PSP and the Portal, and it's so good. And Water brought it up. People have handhelds in their hands, and Alterm brought it up, right? You can get a tablet you can get a new cell phone, and they can run natively now with actual games. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay? So a high-end Android device are now more powerful, or now powerful, I shouldn't say more powerful, just read the article, right? Now powerful enough to emulate the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077. All right? So the idea of running Cyberpunk 2077 on a smartphone would have also been ludicrous when the game first came out in 2020. I know. I said don't buy it for the last hardware, let alone for a cell phone. Fast forward 6 years, and now the idea has become a reality. Handheld SFF specialist ETA Prime on YouTube has made it happen with gaming phone running a PC version of Cyberpunk 2077 at 30 to 40 frames per second in emulation. ETA is prime choice of Red Magic 11 Pro, one of the most powerful Android smartphones on the market, in the combination with GameSurf's Game Hub platform to emulate the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077 on the Android. And the Red Magic 11 Pro is unique in it that it comes with the internal liquid cooler and active cooling fan that keeps the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 chipset at a high clock speed under prolonged use. Okay, so let's watch this and see
running full-blown PC games on Android has come a long way in a very short period of time, and in this video, I want to show you Cyberpunk 2077 running on my Android phone. This is not cloud gaming. I'm not streaming it from a local PC or even a PC across the world. Basically, what we're doing here is emulating...
You know what? Let me open it up in a regular YouTube channel.
Is emulating Steam game.
Yeah, because it sounds better too. I like the Backbone. I have a Backbone myself. I love using it on my cell phone when I do play games on the go.
Or PC games on our Android device using different layers. Now, there are several ways to go about this, but what I've been using is Game Hub. You could go with Game Hub Lite or even something like WinLater. And I've taken a look at this on the channel in the past, but one game I was never able to get up and running was Cyberpunk 2077 until now. The phone I'm going to be using for this is the Red Magic 11 Pro. It actually has a liquid cooler built in. It also has
a liquid cooler built in. Do you see the problem with making a handheld device? If I can have my phone, which is a phone, the internet, TikTok, everything else on there, like my whole life is on the cell phone, and now my gaming is on the cell phone. Remember years ago when I said, everyone in this chat that was here at the time said, I don't want to game on my cell phone. And I said, yes, you're not buying the phone to game, but you will game because you have the phone. Right? Remember when I said that, chat? I said, you'll game because your phone can, not because you want to game on the phone. You'll be sitting there, maybe you're bored, maybe your friend's talking to you, you start playing a game on the phone, maybe you're taking a shit, and you're on the toilet, and instead of playing a little mobile phone game, you're actually playing a full-fledged game, right? Now you can stream it from the cloud, now you can run it natively on the actual phone. Of course, your battery life, as we said earlier, would be absolute trash, okay? But the fact that it's possible to play full-fledged games on a cell phone now is mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing.
Has an active fan. It's the most powerful Android phone that I've tested on the channel until the next one comes out because it's powered by the Snapdragon Elite Gen 5. It's actually the Snapdragon Elite 2, but, you know, Qualcomm went with the Gen 5 moniker on it. Really great performance across the board. When it comes to native Android games, there's nothing it's not going to run. It handles high-end retro emulation like a champ. And now, with all of the optimizations for x86 emulation on ARM, we've been seeing some great performance out of AAA games. I've been going through testing
Is it not loud enough for you guys? Sorry. Let me make it louder.
Other games, and I've got a bunch of stuff up and running on this chipset, but I wanted to show off Cyberpunk 2077 in this video because I thought it was really impressive what this thing can do. Before we really get into it, I do want to mention that I'm in console mode with the Red Magic 11 Pro. Basically, USB Type-C over to HDMI. Gives us this 16:9 aspect ratio. We can add games here. Just makes it much easier to record the screen like this. That way we don't have a weird aspect ratio going. There's no performance difference between this and regular handheld phone mode. Just keep that in mind. But we'll go ahead and open up Game Hub, and we'll start right here. Now, I've got this in Diablo mode, and there's a few different performance modes with the Red Magic.
What does that mean, Diablo mode? I'm sure he'll say it.
11 Pro. Again, it's the most powerful Android phone that I've ever tested so far at the time I'm making this video. Right down here, You can see we're in Diablo mode. You can go to performance, you can go to balance, but obviously we want
Power consumption. Okay.
as
Heat
much
generation.
CPU
Gotcha.
and GPU out of this thing as possible. We've got our overlay right here, which can be switched. And if I go back down, you can see that we're really using Game Hub. This is not streaming. We've got a few extra things that we could do here, like our super resolution. So I've got this on. I've got it set
That's not a cell phone, by the way, guys. A cell phone.
to 4 just for a little extra sharpness at 1080, the way it is. So we've got all the information up in the top left
Someone tell me how much the phone costs. Tell me how much that phone
hand
costs.
corner that we need. Let's go with this right here. And again, this is something that I've been trying to do for a while. Every time I get Cyberpunk installed on
Let me make sure. What are we in here? We're at 1080p 60.
any Android device, I just can't get it to run. The FPS is listed over in the left-hand corner. You can see we're not even quite at 30 right now, and I'll show you the settings that I'm using. So we'll go to graphics. I'm actually at low. We're going to go to balanced here with FSR 2.1, and we're at 720p. So we'll hit apply, and it's actually pretty smooth like this. It feels pretty decent. Of course, it would be nice to be running this at 60 right now, but
Well,
we
of
can
course,
get a lot.
But come on. Come on. You're playing on a cell phone. Natively.
Lot more out of this. And you can see sometimes it does hover right there in the 30s. Our temp is still pretty high on this unit, even though we've got that water cooler, because it is really maxing out that Gen 5 CPU. Our RAM usage is way up, and we've got 16 gigs of RAM with this. We're at 88% usage right now. And let me see if I can actually...
Battery life, if it's not plugged in, it goes from like 7 hours to 30 minutes.
clear some out. I don't know if it's going to be listed here or not. No, it's not, unfortunately. In regular phone mode, we can actually clear some background tasks, but we're not overutilizing right now. And you can see it's not horrible, but we're not at 30. So we're at low, FSR set
$749. So Red Magic 11 Pro is $749, and I'm pretty sure you could probably get that much cheaper, right? Contract with Verizon or whatever provider you have, right?
to balanced. But there's one thing that I've been messing around with quite a bit on this, and that's actually FSR frame generation. It does work here, and it actually works wonders with this little chipset. So if you wanted to, you could actually play it like this. You could even go to the lowest of the low settings. So once we go to the low preset, there's actually more settings that we can turn down.
Thanks,
It
Aku.
will run it at 30 FPS continuously, but I wanted to kind of at least make it look decent the way it is.
You can see the graininess on it, by the way. Now, obviously, this is sort of like looking at AI. People are like, well, I could tell it's shitty looking. It's running on a cell phone. It's running on a cell phone. Hey, people are like, I'm not going to fucking play on the cell phone. That's great. You probably own a cell phone already, right? You don't own a handheld device. Every person on the planet that's an adult probably has a cell phone on them. Not to say it'll run like this, but the fact that we're talking about it right now, why would you buy a handheld device when you already have a handheld device? Me, Water, and Altern have talked about this, and Aku have talked about this over the years, okay? Playing on the Oculus Rift when I'm on vacation, and I play on a 7 foot tall or a 7 story foot tall screen while I'm wearing the goggles. I'm streaming it from the cloud. I'm playing it locally on certain things. Like, we've talked about this in the past. Sure, it's not the greatest. Yes, there's lag and stuff. But the fact that you can play these things in the convenience of things that you already own is the big selling point, the convenience of it. So instead of going out and spending an additional $800, $1,000, you already have a $500 to $1,000 cell phone that can play things from the cloud, that makes phone calls, that surfs the web, that plays your music, that does the photos, that does the video, that does all of these other things, where if you buy a Switch 2, it just plays games. And sure, it plays games better because that's what it's designed for. But convenience is the reason people buy things.
Now, again, what I'm going to do here is actually enable FSR frame gen. Then I want to come back and test with the Steam Deck preset because I want to see if this could keep up with the Steam Deck. So go settings. And from here, we're going to enable FSR. We may need to restart this game for
the fact that you could do ray tracing and all this other stuff on a phone.
Yeah, we're going to have to restart. So give me a second here. We'll bring us right back into Game Hub. And we'll restart real quick.
It's pretty fast restarting. There's no cuts here.
Okay, so here we are with some FSR frame generation. Same settings, so we're at 720p low with it.
I think that was a cut. That had to be a cut, right? Let me see. I think that was a cut.
Okay, so here we are with some FSR frame generation. Same settings, so we're at 720p low with it. FSR is still set to balanced, and we're in the high 40s with it with frame gen enabled. So we are generating some extra frames here or some fake frames. But given that we're actually running this x86 PC game on an ARM device, I wouldn't mind using this as long as it's smooth enough.
I'll tell you what, the iPhone, I have an iPhone. I've always had an iPhone, but I never got it for gaming. But when I started playing the cloud gaming on my phone, it's sharp looking, man. It's good. It's good looking. Now, obviously, the phone's not meant for gaming, but I can game.
And every once in a while, I do notice a few hiccups here and there, but it's still a bit early for, this technology. I do believe that in the future, we're going to see these games run almost flawlessly on these ARM devices for sure, especially after something like the Steam Frame is released.
Go on, Dolphin.
Once we get some, better development going with this, I do think we'll see some really drastic improvements in performance. But being able to run the PC version of Cyberpunk over 40 FPS is really impressive.
That's insane. It's running over 40. Travis, are you here? See, 40 is better than 30, right? Travis, you can't see it, but it's smoother running. This is actually better than some of the consoles right now that can run this thing.
And we'll get some explosions going on. We'll just play a little bit to see what happens here. Notice some ghosting with that frame gen. It's kind of a given that, we're using frame gen on an Android device with a PC game. If you don't mind playing this at 30, it would be totally possible to. Like I mentioned, you could just turn frame gen off. You could set it to the lowest of the low settings and run it at 720p. Lock it down at 30. And you can do that actually pretty easily from...
That's amazing. As much as I'm always bitch about like certain quality of games, the fact that you can play this on a mobile device, not made for gaming, but just a phone that you already have, and you can play these games, and now natively with the ARM chip, holy Christ.
Over here, I believe we have, we got our frame.
Isn't Apple, everyone's moving towards the ARM chip. Am I wrong on that? You guys are way more tech savvy than I am when it comes to stuff like this. Aku says, our issue right now is actually that they are also bought into the 8664 architecture. If they did the full switch to ARM, games could also have been better performance. We also could go 128. Now, didn't Steam also move towards the ARM chip as well for the Steam Deck, or I'm sorry, the Steam machine?
Limiter. So I'm just going to disable it here. We may lock it down in a sec once we get to those Steam Deck settings, but trying to just, kind of get a feel for how this is working and how well it's going to work with this game. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to take a look at was the Steam Deck preset, because as we know, with the Steam Deck itself, once you enable that, it's going to lock it down at
it looks
30.
good.
Take some of the settings to high. We'll go in here and I'll show you from graphics. Right there at Steam Deck, FSR is set to balanced. We're not using any kind of frame generation. And under video, let's make sure this is locked at 30 because that's what it does on the Steam Deck. I just want to see if it can keep up. Obviously, instead of running at 800p, we're at 720 here.
Yep.
And I wanted to just move back over to the phone
720
screen
at 30
to show you that this is all running on the device itself. But it
just
doesn't
under
look
30
like
frames.
we're quite at 30 FPS continuously. Yeah. It's definitely getting close, but it feels really good. I'm so surprised at how nice this feels. Now, I've tested Game Hub and, x86 emulation.
I mean, look how much stuff it has to render on the actual device. You know what I mean?
but this is nice. And I do not like motion blur that much. So I'm actually going to disable that real quick. It's probably not going to help out with the frame rate, but it does take it to high with that Steam Deck preset. So that's another thing we've kind of changed here. Yeah, there we go. And it should catch back up to where it was. So we're looking at, I mean, anywhere from like 23 up to 27 FPS on average, hitting it up at 28. With some more optimizations, I do think that this could be right on par with how the Steam Deck runs it, you know, locked down at 30. But since we're here, let's enable frame gen with that Steam Deck preset and see what happens.
The temperature's 83 degrees in that device.
Steam Deck preset, frame generation on. I knew we weren't going to get much more than we did out of that low setting. We're actually seeing just a bit less out of it, but the game does look better like this. We're still at 720p with FSR set to balanced here because that's the Steam Deck
what did he switch it to? I didn't see it. It's at the 50
gen
frames.
on, I mean, it definitely takes it up over that average of around 26, 27 FPS. So we're up in the mid 40s with it. And I probably would play through this like it is, as long as, you know, I'm not getting a bunch of crashing going on, you know, halfway through the game. I could deal with something like this, but again, it's only going to get better as time goes on.
I think if this is your main gaming device, I think you might have problems in the long run, right? But if this is something you're on a train, in the back of a car, you're playing on your lunch break and stuff like that, this is more than enough, way more than enough.
But this is a really
FSR on.
awesome
Thank you.
step forward. And I know I've seen other people, you know, running Cyberpunk on their Android device. I've personally never been able to get it to work on anything. So it's really awesome to see this running right now.
I like what you said. Water's like, yeah, it'll become more viable when you don't have to have gloves on to hold it because of the heat. Yeah, it's like scorching hot. So there you go.
So yeah, it's definitely come a long way in a short period of time. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've tested some other AAA games. I've got a bunch of stuff up and running on this. So if you're interested in seeing a video like that, make sure you hit that like button and think about subscribing so you know when I post the next one. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. And like always,
all right, let me get his video inside of our description here. So you guys can go there. Watch his channel if you want to go deep dive more into it. Let's see. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to actually put the actual stories that we're talking about today inside the actual thing. We got ETA Prime. Okay, and then we also have Valve Steam Deck. And then we had this high-end with the PC. And then we have Legendary Drop. All right, there we go. What's going on, Ghost Wolf? Dolphin says, yeah, my ROG Ally is max damn near burns me. I mean, that's what's going to happen with these portable devices, right? You can't stop that. That's what's going to happen with these. So, look, very cool that you can do this on the cell phone. And again, this is what happens when you're in the market. And this is why I said about a year and a half ago, I guess, when they started talking about Microsoft making their own handheld. And I was like, I don't see them making their own handheld right now. It doesn't make sense in the market, especially since at that time is before they said they were stopped making, they don't care about hardware. It was just stupid. It's like, why are they going to make a handheld device when they can team up with someone that's already making a handheld device? Then it came out that they were teaming up with someone making a handheld device. Like, duh, that makes sense. Okay. So then now Asus makes it and Steam Deck makes it, but Steam Deck and PlayStation, when they're making the Portal, PlayStation's like, should we invest in a handheld device? That's what the Portal was for PlayStation, by the way. It was a testing ground. I know that. It's a testing ground to see, because I even said they're going to make another Portal. They're going to make another handheld device, and now there's rumors of them making a handheld device. But the Portal was the test market, okay? But at the same time, now you can just play your games on your cell phone. Convenience is the major thing. Why is Xbox doing what they're doing? Convenience is they know people don't want to go buy another $700 box, so they're trying to meet you where it is. So convenience, they're putting their games everywhere, right? They're putting Game Pass everywhere. They're putting it on your Samsung, your LG, your Hisense television sets. They're putting them on your cell phone. They're putting it where they can team up with Steam, right? They're trying to make it more convenient. Why is PlayStation putting their games on PC? Convenience. That's what they're doing. Not because of anything else. It's convenience. They're like, well, people are not buying the systems, so we have to go where they are, right? Because a person that just spent $1,500 on a PC probably doesn't want to spend another $700 just so they can play that one game over on PlayStation. So they're going to wait, and they'll wait for that game to come over to PC, and then they'll buy it. Same thing with cell phones, right? Why go buy a Nintendo Switch? Well, Nintendo Switch 2 is a little weird because their games, unless you do emulation, obviously, you're not going to be able to play Nintendo games. So Nintendo has that market because they're very strict in what they do with that market. But PlayStation games, PC games, Xbox games, you can play it on a cell phone. I've been doing it for 5+ years through the cloud and whatnot, and it's gotten better and better and better over the time. Alterm says, so a phone can play more games than a PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Yes. Now, I don't know if it's the more viable thing as we speak right now. Waterbear says, speaking of PlayStation, I saw the Death Stranding 2 is dropping the same day as Crimson Desert for PC. Well, that's a bad move on their part. But then again, Death Stranding 2 already made its money out front, so they're just trying to kind of take something away. But let me tell you something. Crimson Desert is like this hurricane off the coast right now, right? People don't know what it's doing. They're like, what is Crimson Desert? What is this game, right? Yesterday we talked about that as far as the monetization plan that they have going, where they're just, I know it's hard to say, making a game and selling a game. I know. It's crazy. All right, we got those done. We got that 2 done. We got that 1 done. All right, we got 2 videos from Legendary Drops. There's one from 4 days ago, and there's one from yesterday, okay? The one from yesterday kind of has to do with High Guard, right? He says, I'm sick of being blamed for failed games, okay? If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just talk about video games here. If you guys like what I do, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please share the channel out on all the social forums and whatnot. I know a lot of people try to come in here. A lot of people come into my comment section and they're trying to argue with me. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to talk about news stories and gaming because I love gaming. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love gaming. And yes, a lot of shit is being shit on. And I'm more than happy to talk about it, right? We talk about it all the time, right? I want it to get better. Hence why I talk about video games and tell you not to buy broken, buggy games. I'm not telling you to not buy games. I'm not telling you to not support companies. I'm telling you not to support the company if they give you a shitty product, right? So this is why I like watching content creators like Greg Owen, who's been on the show, like Kingard, who's been on the show, like Wizard, who's been on the show. I'm trying to get Legendary Drops on the show, okay? I like watching people like this, and we all like watching people not like-minded, right? Of course you want to watch something that you like, but you listen to them because it resonates with you, right? Something that I'm saying every single day when you guys show up is resonating with you. You guys agree. You're like, yeah, this is it. And some of us want to keep buying the broken, buggy games. But you can, just don't pre-order. Give them your money when they earn it, not because they made a product. Making the product is not earning your money. Making a product that works is what's making get your money. Okay, so let's watch this from Legendary Drops. Hit the like button on this video. Go check it out. Okay, let's listen to this.
Game's failure instead of just confronting reality. High Guard developers, as well as some in games media, have taken to crashing out.
Oh, and by the way, videos like this, stories that we cover every day, are submitted by most of the time, most of you guys, and I appreciate that very much. If you want to submit stories to our Discord, you can be a member here, link it up to our Discord, and then you can also put stuff in. Now, you can also not even be a part of a membership, but submitting stories and being in the general chat in our Discord is free for everybody, okay? If you're a member of the channel, you open up more things. All right, here we go.
Blaming the players for the game's failure instead of just confronting reality. I am so sick and tired of players being blamed for failed games. This week,
You always gotta, right? Imagine I blame everybody for not watching my content. Stupid. The reason my content doesn't grow or stuff is because of the problems or the decisions that I'm making, not because of what the people watching are doing.
weird expectation that the customer needs to be there to catch these developers when they fall, that they need to donate their empathy to those who do not understand the customer's needs, do not seem to care, and then want to stand around and act surprised when everybody's upset. This is not a charity.
Yeah, Dolphin, that's how it is, right? Again, I say this all the time. You know, you've been here long enough. If you come in and tell me, like, Division 3 comes out, right? Division 3 is on the pipeline. Everyone's excited about Division 3. I look at Division 3 and I tell you, it's not going to be good when it comes out. Don't pre-order. Don't buy day one, right? And everyone's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm suggesting, hey, just hold off and wait for Division 3 to come out to let you hear what it is, see what it is. And then it comes out, and the same people now that bought it now come into my channel or come into my comment section or go on Twitter, and they're like, oh man, I'm so disappointed on how this turned out, and it's bad, and it's broke, and it's buggy. And it's like, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. If a person tells you, don't stick your finger in the light socket, and then you stick your finger in the light socket and then turn to me and say, bro, that hurt, I don't give a shit. At that point, I don't give a shit, because I'm not trying to tell you how to spend your money. I'm trying to help you make good decisions, and you can still purchase the bad game. No one's telling you not to buy a bad game or good game. I'm telling you, don't buy it day one, right? Don't buy it day one, because the game is broke, buggy, and unfinished. And if it is broke, buggy, unfinished, they will not fix it because they get all the money up front. And if you want it to get better, you cannot buy it up front. Cannot buy it up front.
You are asking for people's time, for their money, and for their patience. If you guys just wanted their well wishes, you wouldn't be putting a price tag on it.
Right.
This is something that the industry at large just doesn't seem to understand. They don't get why players are so upset, why they're so loud, why they won't trust anyone. Instead, what they want to do is they want to call you entitled. Say that you're algorithm poisoned, that you're
Right. Because you want something that works, you're entitled. That's not how that works.
addicted to outrage, without taking the time to realize they are the ones that created this monster. They did get one thing right. Players do want to see games fail, but that's not because they're evil or entitled. It's because they're sick of not being listened to. So when words fail them, they realize the only language left was consequences. The video game industry...
He makes really good videos. I know he did construction and stuff ahead of time. It's amazing. He's really good with this. The way he speaks, the way he presents himself when he does his videos, he's very good.
Suffers from a severe lack of accountability and self-awareness, to the point that now it's honestly just getting hard to comprehend. The same lessons get taught over and over, and nothing ever gets learned. Because
Right, you're entitled for a working product, Aku. How dare you want something that's not broke, buggy, and unfinished? You son of a bitch. What kind of person are you? What do you expect of them? You want them to complete the thing they've created for you?
Because the people that are making those mistakes refuse to believe that it is them. And we see this every single time a game fails. There's always an excuse that's deflecting around the obvious. The market's tough. We didn't time our release right.
What did that say? Hold on. What did that
Always
first
an
article
excuse
say?
that's deflecting around the obvious. The market
2024 was the year the bottom fell out of games industry.
It's tough. We didn't time our release.
After beefing with Zelda and Elden Ring, the Horizon series curse continues as Zero Dawn Remaster clashes with Dragon Age.
Right. The genre's
Sony believes Concord failed because of an overly competitive market.
saturated. And now their new favorite, it's the players. It's
A former Highguard dev blames game culture for hesitating the game's failure. Yeah, well,
content creators. It's the culture. Apparently, we manifested their failure into existence and unfairly got what we asked for. We've watched this same cycle for the past few years. A game gets announced and it genuinely breaks your brain trying to figure out how that game even got greenlit.
You know what I love? I truly mean this. I'm not mad in any way, shape, or form, right? Because you guys go back to my old content and see I haven't changed. When I was when I was on the Rageous Round Table back in the day, when I was on Lono's a podcast after COVID and stuff like that, I've never changed. I've been the exact same person I've been the entire time, telling people and trying to teach people, do not trust these companies right off the bat. Certain games come out and they're beautiful. Other games come out, broke, buggy, and unfinished. The same companies keep doing the exact same things. The Activisions, the Blizzards, right? I'm sorry, the Activisions, the EAs, stuff like that, right? I've been the exact same. People yelled at me back then, said I was full of shit, didn't know what I was talking about, and yet for some strange reason, we have more content creators like Legendary Drops, like Kingard, like Fake Wizard, like Greg Owen, right? That are saying the exact same things that I've been saying for a decade. A decade I've been saying stuff like this, okay? And I'm not jealous in any way, shape, or form. I'm just doing my thing. I love the fact that more people are waking up for all this bullshit.
Developers in conditions so sheltered that the second that game touches sunlight, it just evaporates. The character designs, the themes, the gameplay, the genre. Players look at it and they feel too...
That's right. The exact same person, same shirt, same hair, same beard for the past 6 years.
Things at the same time. Offended that the industry thinks this is worth their money, and frustrated that this industry refuses to save itself. So then what happens? Well, the trailer gets downvoted into oblivion. Social media lights up. People say very clearly and directly, this is not what we want. The industry ignores it, calls it noise, pretends that it's the fringe, and then...
Who greenlit Highguard? Tencent. Tencent did.
Well, the game launches, nobody shows up, and somehow, yet again, well, it can't possibly be them. No. It has to be the players. In 2026, that game was Highguard. Everybody knew it was going to fail. Everybody said that it would. Hell, I made a video the day after its announcement saying exactly that. It looked half-baked. It looked like it needed more time. It needed to go into beta. That feedback was everywhere. The entire internet was criticizing it. Then the game...
Do you know why the entire internet's like that? Some people are parrots, right? And just repeat what other people say. But why do they do that? They do that because that's what they truly believe, right? If I say that the game is half-baked, it's a half-baked game, and someone else that doesn't really know about half-baked games because they don't have that much experience starts to watch content creators and looks at it and goes, well, why are they saying it's that? And they start watching content creators and we start pointing out why we think it's a half-baked game. And when we think it's a half-baked game or a half-assed game or it's not done, we're like, hey, don't do it. They start looking at it and go, oh... They start to see the signs of what makes a half-baked game. When I tell you that Battlefield is Call of Duty in disguise, and everyone's like, no, it's not Call of Duty. And then 4 months later, they're like, I'm so disappointed in Battlefield. It's like Call of Duty. It's like, hello. It's not that we're talking shit. We're telling you what it is because we've seen it before. We know how it is. Why is it that you don't go down a shady alleyway? Right? You don't go down a shady alleyway because you're like, I've seen shit before. Someone got stabbed. Maybe you just watched Batman and his parents got killed. Whatever it is, you're like, I'm not going down the shady alleyway. So you walk around.
Released and it failed. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. Now we have the developers placing the blame at the feet of the players and content creators while assuming none of it themselves. Josh Sobel, one of the technical artists on Highguard, took to Twitter to write a lengthy reflection about how gaming culture destroyed the game. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but you do need to see just how out of touch this mindset is, because every time they say this stuff, it just proves the players right.
100%. Every time they come out with their posts and do the things and say the stuff they have, they just keep making us more credible.
Josh opens with, the day leading up to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had a connection to the team or the project had shared the same sentiments. It's lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project...
Just spoon-fed. Do you guys, any of you guys have kids? Any of you have kids? Do you know what you do when a kid's a baby? When a kid's a baby and they do something like walk for the first time, you're like, yay! All right, you like motivate them to do something, right? But then as they get older, right, and they're going towards the light socket with the thing, you're like, hey, no, don't do that. And they're like, They start screaming and crying because they got yelled at. Okay. The business industry now, the gaming industry, doesn't want to yell at anybody. They don't want to discipline anybody. They just want to keep going, yay, you made the code. Good job, Timmy. You made the code. I know. It's so hard. It's so hard. I respect you. I appreciate you. You know the difference between that and a business? A business is trying to make money. So when you come in, you show me your code, I'm like, how come it's not working? You did 3 pages? Can you do 4? Right? Your work's not that very good. We're falling behind. We're 3 days behind now. We need to cut this map. We need to cut this thing, right? Reality sets in. You know why reality sets in? Because money. Money is where business is. And if businesses need to make money, because you're employed by the business, and if business doesn't make money, then you don't get a paycheck. You lose your job, and then you have to go find another job so someone else can go, yay, you showed up today. Congratulations, right? That's what's happening in the industry right now.
Nobody in the industry is worried we'll fail. It's yours. This has mainstream hit written all over it. There's no way this will flop. I could play this all day. Now, either you are surrounded by professionals.
They could play it all day. Should we look? Let's look. Yeah, let's look. Let's go to the numbers. Right? We haven't looked it up today. Right? So might as well bookmark it. I could play it all day. Look at all the people playing it all day. Look at all the people that can play it all day. Isn't that amazing, guys? Look at it. I could play it all day. How much time can you play all day? I hope you're buying microtransactions, because the free-to-play game is not running on pixie dust and magic thoughts, right? It's running on money, servers, people. How many microtransactions are you making in your free-to-play game? Probably not a lot. Probably not a lot.
Trained bioengineered gaslighters, or you made this the hell up. There is no way. This is way too on the nose. It's almost stereotypical. Who would actually go out and say there's no way this game will flop? If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. Jeff, you did this, didn't you? You said this.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. It came out yesterday, right? And I don't give a shit that Tencent backed the company. I don't. Okay? Jeff Keighley came out and said it's an independent company, which technically it is, but really it isn't. And I really want to work on a video. I got to work on a video of what independent means. Independent to me is no longer the meaning of what it is. Okay? It's like organic food in the grocery store. In the beginning, it was a farmer that had the stuff and gave it to the supermarket, and it was organic, and it was good for you. But now everyone's like, well, that sells for 25% more. Right? So now everyone has organic food and they're paying more money, even though it's not organic anymore. Because the chicken was out in sunlight for half a second, now it's a cage-free chicken. So they can charge more for that shit. Okay? Independent games, and this is why Jeff was leaning so far into it, is because from independent developers, and we really think about the independent developers is no longer independent. Independent's like Cuphead, where they're putting up their house for mortgage and try to make the actual game. Right? Is the Tunics out there? Is the other games? If Tencent, EA, Microsoft, anybody else from a massive corporation gives you money, you are no longer independent. Okay? You're independent from them, yes, sure. But you got a big-ass paycheck from them so you can stay alive to make your actual game. Right? That's not independent. That's an indie studio. But they're not independent. Sure, they're not being told what to do, but they got a shit ton of money from that person to make the game. So there's a blurred line there. Okay? Now, my issue is not if they're independent or not. I don't give two shits if they're independent. I have a problem with the companies in the industry, the way they say independent now, and indie games and stuff like that. Okay? What I have a problem with is that Tencent sits on the board of the Game Awards, along with all the other Microsoft and everybody else. Okay? So if Tencent has an investment in this company from Wild Entertainment, and they're paying money for this game, and they sit on the board, and Jeff Keighley comes out and says, hey, we're giving this spot for free, Well, that kind of looks bad now. Now, we didn't know Tencent was the silent investor, okay, which didn't mean anything because we're like, oh, well, Jeff just gave it to him, and it's his award show. But now it comes across a little bit weird because Tencent's on the board, and Jeff Keighley said, I like High Guard, and you're going to like it too, or love it too. Well, why did they put it there? Why did they just give a spot? Why is anyone paying for a spot on the award show where the people on the board can just, hey, we have this game that we're investing in. We like to put it on the last spot here to give it the best chance possible. And Jeff's like, that's a good idea. And then they do it, and they sit back. They don't say anything, but now the truth came out. Tencent was a backer of this game, and it flopped.
To them. Your game was sheltered. I assumed as much, and I said as much in my review after the game had launched. Hell, I even think I said it in my intro. The more that I played it, the more I watched on as people with zero stake in the outcome cheered it on that probably weren't even playing it themselves. The more obvious it became to me and also to everybody else that this game was a casualty of toxic positivity, no different than Concord, because otherwise it would have never made it to market. Mining rocks in a first-person shooter.
Who thought that was a good idea, chat? Seriously, who thought we're going to make a competitive shooter 3v3, but the first 5 minutes we're just going to be mining rocks?
Massive maps with 3v3 and 5v5, even when you bumped it up later. A shooter where players barely engage unless they're standing on an objective. A game that makes you feel like you're only fighting other players, maybe 25% of the time? No progression, no leaderboards, no scoreboard. A hero shooter where the heroes make isekai.
I'm sure Legendary drops, they were going to put that in the game. It just wasn't ready when it came out.
Protagonists look original, and nobody noticed that. You're trying to tell me nobody said anything. Nobody at a single point said, hey...
Nobody said anything because they didn't want to hurt their fifis. They didn't want to hurt their feelings. They're like, they play the game and they go, oh yeah, it's good. It's good. It's like if I draw a stick figure on a piece of paper and like, hey guys, what do you think about my drawing? You guys are like, it's great. No, you guys are gonna be like, that's fucking ugly. That's shit. Right? That's what you do. Because you're not gonna sugarcoat it. You're not gonna be like, yay, 30 drew a stick figure. That's pretty good. You'd be like, what the fuck is that? What is that? Well, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it for $70. Who wants to buy my stick figure for $70? I'll fix it later. I'll make the stick figure more wide and put some detail on it. But don't you want to pay for it? And I'll make a roadmap. I'll draw you what it's going to look like 6 months from now.
You know what? Something might be wrong here. This is the stuff that drives players up the wall because it is so self-inflicted. These are not subtle problems. A Candy Crush gamer could call this stuff out. So either you didn't listen, didn't want to hear it, or no one around you was willing to say it. You were surrounded by people.
Yeah, the people around you, I would never hang out with those people again. I want someone to be honest with me. I want people to tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Hence why when people come in my comment section and say, you're a fucking retard, or they say something to me, I'm like, all right, noted. Great. They like watching retards. So I'm going to make more retarded content.
People that were being supportive for the sake of being supportive. People that cared more about your feelings than they did about your results. And at the end of the day, the product that you made is what happens when you get a shooter that is built inside of a padded room, insular, coddled, and completely disconnected from what players have been asking for. And what they have made blatantly obvious over years of public failures. And it's no wonder that you were surprised when your game finally...
That term I just said, 5 people just unsubscribed. They'll watch this later and be like, I can't believe he said that. He called himself an effing retard.
Touched reality. Josh continues with his experience saying, but then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive.
Yeah. 10 times the engagement of positive. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The problem is when people make positive content, no one wants to talk about it. You know why? This movie is great. I agree. I don't like this game because of the shooting mechanics, the farming mechanics, the defense mechanics. Everyone's like, me either. I don't like the defense mechanic. And they start talking about more stuff, right? It starts to go down the rabbit hole because other people are like, I didn't like it either. And they just start to snowball. It's not 10 times the engagement. It's like, I like the game. What do you like about it? I like the gun. I like it too, whatever, right? But people don't want to look at that. They just want to look at the negative because people love negative stuff. People like being in toxic relationships. People like watching drama shows. What does that say? Is that about the product or about yourself when you like to watch stuff?
They've got just as much incentive to lean into a
Hence why people come into my channel and they leave a comment in the section. They try to, because they watch other content creators and they're arguing and debating and doing all this stuff. That's not what we do here. We watch stuff. I give you my thoughts and opinion. We get your thoughts and opinions. Cool.
disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. Now, to save for time,
every day, Eclipse. There's somebody that comes in every day, and I love it. I love it every day, because if I don't see it, I'm like, oh, they didn't watch today.
I'm going to summarize a bit. He goes on to say that he got personally targeted too. He went private on Twitter to protect his sanity, and content creators saw that and turned it into a storyline, calling him a coward and sending angry waves of people into his replies. He said people laughed at him for being proud of the game, told him to go fill out a McDonald's application.
Yeah, but why do you care? If you're a person that's reading that type of content, like someone tells you to go F yourself or go kill yourself or do it, well, if you don't like it, then call them out. Call them out. Say it to them. Say, hey, you're a scumbag for saying stuff like that. If you're going to have criticism, give me actual criticism.
Even mocked him for listing autism in his bio. I still don't understand why people do that. And I'm just going to stop it right there. Now, this guy is referencing me directly, so I have to respond to this. I am the one that pointed out how preview events are terrible for feedback, that they almost lead to nothing but glowing coverage. I've
100%.
been to plenty of them. I know how it works. It's not even the point of it being...
Do you know why Hollywood in Vegas and in LA and stuff like that, when they do their videos, they bring people in off the streets, right? They're like, hey, we want your honest opinion, right? Say what you want about Hollywood, and then we'll give you tickets, we'll pay for your lunch or whatever, we'll give you $30, $40. They're like, okay. And they'll go in, and as they watch the video, right, you have a button in your hand, and you push the button 1 through 5, 1 through 10, whatever it is, right? And at the end, they'll ask you some questions. Who liked this character? And you'll raise your hand. And then other people raise, they don't like the hand. Who didn't like this character? And they raise their hand. And that's what they do. They test the test market. And they're like, okay, 90% of the people like this character. We'll leave that character in the thing. And they get feedback. Because if everyone's like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so great, then they put it out and they're like, nobody went to go watch it. Why? Because they didn't get any creative criticism or constructive criticism back at it, and they thought their movie or show was just perfect.
Being a paid trip part. I think that's the laziest part of this conversation. I'm talking about the event itself. The drinks, the food, the social energy, seeing people that you know, seeing people that you don't. You're not locked in.
You don't want to be blacklisted. When you go to these events, you want to be on your best behavior. You could be saying this game's shit, and then when there, you're like, how did you like the game? Oh, it's great. Oh, it's so good. And then you go to lunch with your friend, and you're like, God, I didn't really fucking like it. Yeah, we can't say anything like that. We got a next event next week to go to.
To judging these games like a customer would, you're basically at a party and the game is just background music. And even if you do have criticism, there is real social pressure there. You are now face to face with these developers. You are surrounded. You are not trying to be the guy who is killing the vibe. That is poison to honesty. That's not bribery. It's just human behavior. But you want to go and flip this into...
Right, Dolphin, because when Dr. Disrespect said he went there, they didn't deny it because they didn't want him there. They didn't want him there because of the allegations that were on him. And they didn't want to invite him because if they admit that they actually invited him, which they didn't, but if they admitted that they invited him, well, then they would also be a part of him, and then that would kill the game. Well, guess what? Your game died anyway. Not because Dr. Disrespect was or wasn't there. It's because your game was incomplete.
Content creators did this to us, that me and others disingenuously attacked your game because negativity gives us 10 times the engagement. You have no idea what you are talking about. And honestly, it explains a lot. It explains why your game failed, why so many other games are failing, why games media is struggling, because you people do not understand other people. You do not understand basic social behavior. And also, for the record, 6 out of the top 12 videos on this channel are positive.
Oh, but you can't say that. Look, it's over is negative, so it's 1.7. This is only 1.5, see? Negative. That's the way they'll look at it, Legendary. That's the way they'll look at it. They won't look at it. They'll be saying, see, cooked 1.2, but the positive was 1.1. See? Negative 1 million. This is, right? That's the way they look at it. But of course, look at it. It's like split, right? We've got 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, split. 50-50. The top 12, 6 of the things that he has is positive, most watched stuff. 6 of the things are the most negative, right? 3 in the top 6, 3 in the top 6. Isn't that amazing how that works? It's because it resonates with the people that are watching the actual content.
I am not some rage merchant that can only function off of hate. Yes, I do critical content. That is the theme of the channel. I compare, contrast, and I react to what's being said around a lot of these games, but my opinions do not create public opinion.
Exactly.
They are a lightning rod, a loudspeaker for people who already feel something. Content creators cannot make people love a bad game. We can't make people hate a good one. The people who grow in this space are the ones who naturally resonate with others, not the ones that are trying to force a narrative. Being a contrarian does not work for you. People just want to...
Look at Arc Raiders. When Arc Raiders came out, it organically hyped up. People liked it. Oh, this is so good. Only afterwards, then people started nitpicking and stuff. But the new car smell is a natural thing in games. When a game comes out and it's good, people like the game. When a game is bad, people are like, eh.
Fresh perspective, true, but at the same time, they're trying to seek out what they are already interested in. Go type.
Ron says marathons is up next for execution.
In I hate Dark Souls into YouTube, and you're going to find a bunch of videos that are just not dominating the conversation. The algorithm is still going to try to shove you into positive Dark Souls videos because that's what people actually want, except for Dark Souls 2, but that was actually a bad game, and that totally deserves to get routinely dogged on. But that's how the internet works. That's how people work. If you genuinely believe that content creators can just decide to tank your game for engagement, then you fundamentally misunderstand how...
1,000%. But it's so easy to say that, right? It's so easy for them to say that because they're like, oh, the content creators ruined our game. No, your game ruined your game. Who are you making it for? Are you making it for a gamer? Content creators are gamers. Did the gamers not like your game? Sorry. Why aren't people playing Battlefield 6 RedSec? Because there's better battle royales out there. And it's not Battlefield. Right? Why are they playing other battle royale games? Because they're better.
Attention works. And if you don't understand how attention works, well, then you probably don't understand how interest works. And if you don't understand how interest works, well, you're going to have a really hard time making something that people are actually interested in. The algorithm does not manufacture desire. All it does is amplify it. If negative videos about your game were getting 10 times the engagement, that's not because us creators flipped the switch. It's because that friction was already there.
Right. And speaking of content creators, if the person that is making negative content gets engagement, well, what are they going to do? Unlike the video game space, right? They're going to make a game, or they don't make a game for the people that want the game. Like a content creator says, oh, I got more interest in this topic, so I'm going to make another thing on this topic. And if it does well again, guess what? They're going to make another topic. What's going on, Aaron?
Skepticism was already there. People already had something that they didn't like about it, and the algorithm just poured gasoline on it. I really hope game developers are watching this. This is probably the most important and the most valuable bit of
I didn't see what your thing didn't get posted, Ghost. Let me see what you said real fast. Hold on. It says, oh my God, 30. Sorry, I was driving when you said it, but laughed my ass off that what you said brought people leaving retarded comments or vids was funny and hilarious. I'm telling you, that's going to happen. I guarantee you, someone will be offended that I called myself an effing retard, and they'll unsubscribe and they'll comment and say, you shouldn't talk like that. They'll get offended for myself or for some made up thing, right? They will, 100%.
Insight that I could give you. If you think that content creators cause the reaction, you are missing the most important step. You should be asking, why did the reaction resonate? You should be asking, why aren't people excited? Why are the comments negative? If your first instinct is to blame the amplification instead of the signal, well, all you're doing is just blaming a thermometer for a fever.
That's good, yeah. I'm not sick. The thermometer's broke.
You are so sheltered that you are instinctively deflecting any type of accountability before it even shows up at your door. Content creation success is about resonance. Video game success is about resonance. You cannot strong-arm people into liking something. You cannot strong-arm people into hating something.
You're going to buy my game. That's what the mobsters used to do. Hey, you going to buy a piece of bread? No, I don't want bread. You're going to buy a fucking piece of bread. My mom made this bread. You're going to buy it. You're like, all right, man, I'm going to buy the bread. Right? They want like mob mentality of, you don't like my game? What are you, some sort of racist? You don't like my game? Wait, you calling my mom that you don't like her bread? What are you insulting my mom? You're like, no, I just don't want the bread. I just don't want the food, right? That's what the video game industry is doing right now. I make the product, you have to buy it. There's no excuse. I make product, you buy product. You're like, I don't want to buy your product. I don't like your product.
You cannot guilt people into anything. You cannot shame people into showing up. That doesn't work in any industry. So when I see a game developer that comes out that says that they believe that content creators are the ones that drove failure because negativity performs better, what that tells me is somebody believes that attention is something that you can control. And if that's the case, it makes a lot of sense why you made a game that you thought people should like rather than a game that they actually did. This industry needs to start asking, why are players so upset? Where are these reactions coming from?
I'm sorry, Dolphin, that you have someone like that in your life. This sucks.
Why are they resonating so hard? Why don't they trust us? Why does it seem like they hate us? What do they actually...
They do hate you. They do hate us. Because they're making stuff because they think... He said it in his little blurb. He's a millennial, right? He's a millennial that is cursed, financially cursed, right? Nobody can do anything. They're cursed. They live in this black hole. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to get the thing I want. Or you work hard. I know people look at content creators and celebrities and think they just became like super rich overnight. Some do. Some don't. Some spend that money faster than they make it. Okay. But everybody is trying to make it in the world. And you make a product and it's very competitive. Back in the old days, it wasn't as competitive because there wasn't that many people that gave a shit about entertainment. There was only 3 networks. Then there was 5 networks. Now there's 1,000 networks, right? There was only a couple of game companies out there back then. But then people saw that we were making money. They're like, I can make money. There was very few YouTubers in the beginning. But now there's a shit ton of YouTubers. There's a lot of YouTubers. Think about this, guys. As small as my channel is, I'm still in the 1%. I'm still in the 1% that's monetized on the platform. Sure, I don't have 1 million subscribers. I don't have 100,000 subscribers. But there's people out there, there's millions and millions and millions of channels, and they make $0, right? So I look at my channel, I'm like, holy shit. I'm in the same category as Asmongold. He's making millions of dollars, and I'm making tens of dollars. But I'm still making money off a platform that millions of other people are not making 1 cent on.
Actually get from our failure. And if they ask those questions, all they would have to do is look in the mirror. Now, I originally wasn't going to comment on any of this developer's posts outside of my live stream because I felt like I had already said what I needed to say in my review. But this last point in his response made me realize just how big this problem actually is and how the industry needs a very clear answer. Josh went on to place the blame at the feet of players, pointing out meme phrases like Concord 2 and Titanfall 3 died for this. He also claimed that the game got hammered at launch with 14K review bombs from users with less than an hour of playtime, saying that most of them didn't even finish the tutorial. And then he says this. In the discussions about Highguard, Concord, 2XKO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that developers like to blame gamers for their failures. And that's silly, as if gamers have no power, but they do, a lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whim of consumers, and the consumers put an absurd amount of effort into slam.
We're not putting a whole bunch of effort. We're just telling you our thoughts. I don't know. Did they have Q&A testers at their company? Did they have people to test this game? I mean, you pay people to give you their feedback in your own business. Like, you test it out and say, hey, is our game good? You're like, no, this is broke. This is not working. You can't just smell your own farts and go, they don't smell.
Entering Highguard, and it worked. Look, man, I don't want to repeat myself, but this game was not review bombed, and I'm so sick of seeing developers try to hide behind this excuse. Yes, there were troll reviews like there always are, but a ton of the sub 1 hour reviews were mostly people that were talking about crashing, performance issues, and actual gameplay problems. A Highguard match is 8 to 30 minutes. That is plenty of time for you to know if you are having fun. People didn't like the game. They stopped playing it. End of story. You do not get to under 2,000 concurrent players and layoffs because of review bombing. You get there because you have a poorly managed studio that didn't take in any feedback, and you made a game that people did not want to play. And for all the comments on the players, this industry needs...
I love that he's showing not even footage from the actual game.
To stop blaming the culture that they created. I'm going to say that again as clearly as possible, because for whatever reason, people in this industry still want to act confused as to why players are so savage. You created this, not us. Stop blaming us for your mistakes. Start making better games or find another fucking job. It is not gaming.
Right. If your feelings are hurt, man, maybe you're not cut out for this. And that's okay. Right? My industry, when I was in the film industry and I was on set, let me tell you, man, ruthless. But I appreciated it. Okay? Because every time someone yelled at me, I would know not to fuck up the next time. Right? My job as a first AC, which is a focus puller, okay, was very stressful, but not for me. It wasn't stressful for me because I was confident in what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was fucking good. And I never got yelled at. Right? In the beginning, I did. Right? But years and years into it, when I did a shot, I would have the director. I wasn't looking for to be pat on the back either. Right? I would have the director or the director of photography or someone else come up to me. Hey, good shot. Thanks. Right? But most of the time, when they don't say anything to me, I know I'm doing good because they're not taking a second shot for camera. Let's do another one for camera. That's the death blow. We fucked up. Right? When they go, all right, moving on to the next shot, we're like, yes. Right? That's it. That's the satisfaction you get. Not because they said good job. They said next shot because they weren't doing it. And they said take 64. It's because of the actor, not because of me. Right?
Culture's fault that you go on social media looking for affirmation and praise for your video game. That is on you. You are the one that put your balls in a bear trap. There is part of me, and I will say this, when I hear these discussions and I hear these devs talking about all the hate that they receive, how there has to be a better way to communicate, I think to myself, you know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm taking this a little bit too personally. And then I snap out of it because
this content creator's legendary drop. His link's in the description down below.
I don't support these guys getting attacked. I don't attack them. I don't send people their way. This is all tone policing coming from people that are asking for my money. It is a way to strawman this entire conversation by pointing out freaks online who send threats so that you don't have to deal with normal customers saying this sucks. And if you ignore normal feedback...
Dolphin says, I just got written up being a dickhead. And I told him to live... what was it? Me to leave life at the door. You're our best worker. Well, at least he didn't give you a pamphlet and said you needed God. That's an inside thing because Dolphin told us another story a couple months ago.
Back long enough, you teach people the only language that you respond to is consequences. You want to know why players are so mad? You want to know why they don't trust you? You want to know where this culture is coming from? We went from buying and owning our own games to an industry that is actively litigating and lobbying against our right to ownership, pressuring us into subscription services so they can drip feed us access and eventually feed us ads inside of games that we already paid for. We watched an industry with no microtransactions turn into an industry that...
Yesterday we talked about Crimson Desert, right? I think Crimson Desert has a really good opportunity here. Sort of like what Expedition 33 did. Expedition 33 kind of showed that you don't need a $100 million game, $10 million, one game of the year, swept most award shows, won it again at DICE Awards, right? This company came out of nowhere and showed the industry what a game could be made and for low money. I think what, obviously, Expedition 33 wasn't in development for 10 years, but Crimson Desert can come out and show the industry, show us, the gamers, that you're paying, if you're going to pay $70, you're going to get a full experience with this game, supposedly, hopefully, okay? But even the games like that, Ghost, with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, games come out and they're full, they're complete, right? Because Crimson Desert's coming out and Pearl Abyss is known for Black Desert Online and microtransactions and all this stuff, all of a sudden they come out and they put Crimson Desert out. And let's say it's a make a game, sell a game. It comes out and it's working beautifully. Full-fledged game, so much content, $70. You look at that game, and now you look at other games coming out, even Outer Worlds 2 and other smaller games, them charging $70 for that. And you look at that, and you're like, that's not a $70 game, right? Grand Theft Auto, when it comes out, $70 game. Now, obviously, they want them to charge $100, but if you look at Crimson Desert, and it has all the things that they're saying, and it's a massive game, they could have easily maybe charged $100, but they're keeping it at 70. Really should be 60, right? Because video games don't need to go up, because they can make the game and make millions and millions of copies, because if people play the game, they're going to be like, this is amazing, and they'll buy more games.
Eggs for more money at every opportunity. Microtransactions turning into macro transactions. Bundles that cost more than full games. Skin.
Craig says, I'm just here to say Battle for Cyberstance needs more Helldivers. Oh, you struggling? We need recruitments. You put the flare up in the air. You're looking for recruitment, Craig?
That are pushing $500, hidden stores for whales who have already spent $10,000 so that people can drop almost $50,000 on a spaceship. And even when we do try to support indies or Kickstarters, well, they still get bait and switched and left with nothing. We stand by and suffer while the industry parades around purposefully misinterpreted data claiming that women,
not just Game Boys, women make up 52% of the U.S. gamers, 22% of players over 65 years old. Studies fine. Would you survey 20 people?
Make up 50% of gamers and then use that as a cover to drain personality, flavor, and challenge out of.
Great. So make a game for that 52%. Don't change a brand for them. Make a new game for them.
Of our games that we've supported for years, studios that we have supported for years, all in the name of wider appeal, to the point that you now have the producer of World of Warcraft saying that, well, they wish they hadn't called it Warcraft because it sounds too.
Is this real? World of Warcraft producer says sometimes wish Blizzard hadn't called it Warcraft because it sounds intimidating. Do you see what I'm saying, chat? I think we read this a couple weeks ago, but I forgot about it because it was fucking idiotic. Okay? I wish we didn't make World of Warcraft because it says Warcraft and people don't like war. If you're one of these people, I hate you. If you're one of these people, I wish that war wasn't in Warcraft. These are the same people that put on the whiteboard for Star Wars when they said no war. It's called Star Wars. There's wars in Star Wars.
Intimidating. That's where we're at right now. The end result of this has been an industry that is so greedy and so blind and so tone deaf to their audience that they can't even see the cliff that they are driving off of, even with every single sign screaming at them to turn around. Everything is TAM, total addressable market. This fantasy that there are millions upon millions of gamers that are out there that they just haven't captured yet. We just gotta find them. Meanwhile, the people that are actually keeping these guys in business are getting.
It would sell a lot better if it was called Friends of War. World of Friendscraft, right? That's what it needs to be. Worlds of Friendscraft, where it's the friends you make along the way, doing nothing.
Treated like obstacles, so they keep slopping out remasters and remakes to farm our nostalgia. They poison our experiences with more monetization to satisfy their investors, and even while they're making more money than they ever have, they still have the gall to tell us that we need to pay even more.
Well, that would be the first problem, Z. Mr. Z says, is it possible... Hold on, let me make this a little bigger for myself. It says, is it possible that they were also creating something to sell to Tencent? They created this whole thing to be, would catch the eye of a live service publisher. If you're making a game for a publisher and not the gamers, that's their first problem. If that's true, and they were making it for Tencent and not making it for gamers, that's a problem.
And it hasn't stopped. The industry is fully committed to this idea of trying to take it.
Crowded says, world of aggressive disagreements. Yeah. World of aggressive disagreements. Jesus Christ. Like, that's what they want. A study showed that that people don't like the word war. Right? We're going to have to get rid of battlefield. We have to call it aggressive disagreement field. Just rolls off the tongue much better, right?
as much as it possibly can from its audience, squeezing, extracting, pushing, to the point that it's now costing them their quality and it's costing us our enjoyment. Ask the developers of Highguard, who were apparently only given a couple of weeks to design their characters because apparently they had...
I'm sorry, I didn't see this. Highguard lead character concept artist revealed that she was one and only character concept artist that had to lead the microtransactions team at the same time. She only had 2 to 3 weeks to design a character and lead the microtransaction team within those weeks, which is very challenging for her. Now, here's a data point, chat. Here is a data point. So let's break this down a little bit, okay? Because the industry won't talk to you about this. So 2 to 3 weeks. Let's say that this character gets paid, or this employee gets paid, I don't know. What do you think? If they make 80 grand, right? 80 grand. We'll say 80 grand. Okay. I don't know if they're part-time or not, but let's just say 80 grand for the year. Let's divide that by 52. That's $1,500 a week. Okay. $1,500 a week. Now let's say they work 2 to 3 weeks. We'll times that by 3. So it cost them $4,615. Let's just say for one character. Now let's divide that by, what was it, $18, right? So they have to sell 256 cosmetics just for that one character to pay it off, right? Now, I'm sure this concept artist this character artist doesn't get royalties for this. They just got paid the $3,000, whatever it was, or $1,500 for the time, okay? And now they sell these things. So now we have a data point. The data point is they work 2 to 3 weeks per character. So now look at Marvel Rivals. Again, we're generalistically just saying, if it takes 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little longer, okay? Because she says that was a real quick turnaround, but you have multiple people working on it. She was the only person working on it and doing this stuff. That each character only costs, okay? They make their money back within 200 sales of that microtransaction of that one character. Now times that by Marvel Rivals, or you talk about Overwatch and stuff like that. Those are data points for you. So every time you see a new character, you're like, that character probably cost them $3,000. And then they have $25 microtransaction. You do the math.
Concept artists moonlighting as people that were managing their microtransactions. We see you. We know what you are. You're not fooling anybody. Don't try to give us any of this. We tried to do it the indie way shit.
That is true. That is true, El Dente, right? We should use Overwatch, not Rivals. I was just saying that when they have the character, even if it takes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, you know how much a character costs. It costs between $1,500 and let's say $4,000, right? Obviously, you got that Marvel tax, Disney tax, or whatever. Marvel already has it from the concept artist, from what Marvel created. Overwatch has original stuff, so it takes maybe a little longer. My whole point is that you look at why they charge $18, $20, $25 for microtransactions and how much time they actually put in to one character. They don't put years into these characters. They put in a couple weeks, months for cosmetics for the characters. Remember, it's just the cosmetics. The character's made. Now they're making the cosmetics for that character.
I remember not all that long ago, Mark Dara, formerly of BioWare, went onto YouTube after the backlash of Dragon Age the Veilguard with a video that was titled, $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty. Same playbook, same tone policing that we're seeing right now.
We're on the topic of Legendary Drops is talking about how the gaming industry hates us.
Dragging out the most extreme examples.
It's called I'm sick of being blamed for failed games.
So that normal criticism gets framed as evil. Another game that was supposed to be live service that pivoted last minute, stuff with messaging for an audience that was outside of its own, unrecognizable from what came before. And then right after that, we had an executive from EA saying out loud that they thought that fans would eat up whatever they put out because...
There it is, right? Dragon Age creator says EA executives thought BioWare fans would eat up whatever slop they were given, since the nerds in the cave world always show up for RPGs because it was an RPG. That tells you everything you need to know. I know it's only one person in the industry, but that amplifies throughout the industry. And you could tell because it's exactly what it is. They put it out because of the IPs. Disney did this with Star Wars. They bought Star Wars not because they wanted to make Star Wars. They wanted to make Star Wars because the IP already had this baked in audience, right? They want the IPs because of the baked-in audience, and if they make something with the baked-in audience, well, then you should automatically give them the stuff. That's not how that works.
The nerds in the cave always show up for an RPG because it's an RPG. Yeah, but then those players didn't show up. What these guys haven't realized yet is that the players have shifted right alongside the industry, an industry that has been in contempt of its own audience, serving up slop and trying to extract
I have no idea what we're playing tonight, Travis.
as much revenue as possible until people finally internalize the truth that this high-guard developer just stumbled upon. Players do have the power. We use it, and we use it with purpose. This industry has taught their audience that the only language that they understand, the only language that matters is money. Not essays, not forums, not surveys, money. So they go out and they downvote these trailers into oblivion. They roast these games on...
Yeah, because we're try to call a company up right now. Try to call your cable company up, or the plumber, or anybody. You can't talk to anybody anymore. You can't contact anybody. YouTube is my employer, basically. I can't contact a human being in YouTube. I got to write an email or talk to a fucking bot to get something going, okay? There's no way you're going to get in contact with anybody on here for any game. So what do? Well, you make a comment. You put a comment and you downvote their video. You downvote their video, or you downvote it on the and give it a bad review because they're not going to listen otherwise. Right? And they're like, you can't do that. That's making our rating go down and people don't want to buy our game. Well, yeah. Well, you might want to listen to the people that bought your game. Worrying about the people that are going to buy your game. You might want to worry about the people that bought your game and the problems within the game itself.
Social media. They watch videos and support creators that are...
Yeah, right? Speak to an agent. Agent. 0, 0, 0. I just want to talk to an agent. Agent. Please hold. Please hold. An agent will be right back with you. 45 minutes later. Now you're aggravated. And then they want to know why you're aggravated. They're like, this is Kenneth. What can I help you with? And you're like, listen here, Kenneth. I've been on the hold for 45 fucking minutes, and all I want to do is talk to you with a live human person. I'm so sorry how you feel. It says in the script, person's aggressive. What do? I like to get a manager. Would you like to? Okay, I understand, sir. Can you calm down? Can you calm down, sir? Can you calm down? And every time they say calm down, the boiling point levels up. You're like, I am fucking calm. I just want my thing that I paid for to work. I just want my internet to work. I just want my car to work. I just want the refrigerator to work. I just want the AC to work. I just want a video game that works. That's what happens.
Already talking about what they're thinking, and they then go and do the one thing that they know that always lands. They don't buy it. They don't play it. And I hope you know that when these players start rooting for failures, it's not because they hate games. It's because they see where this industry is going. And they would rather watch this entire thing collapse and burn and rebuild it all over again than being dragged down this same road even further.
Akira's like, human! I want to talk to a human. Jesse Vax says 30, but Disney Games makes Star Wars games that made 4 Star Wars games, but LucasArts made a whole bunch of Star Wars games. Yeah, there used to be like 70 games, and now there's 4 in the last decade. Mind you, they're good, but there's only 4.
How can anybody be surprised with how players act today? Yeah, they're more hostile than ever, but the industry itself is more hostile than ever. We have more gambling psychology pumped into these games to the point that even Vegas would start blushing. Ownership is starting to vanish. We have microtransactions that have infested nearly every single experience. Slop just keeps getting served to the players, and we're expected to pay for it. Prices keep going up. We're done with it.
Right. A $60 game is broken buggy. A $70 game is broken buggy. Your $100 deluxe edition is broken buggy. Your $250 statue that's not painted is broken buggy version. It goes on and on. But we, the developer, we need to charge more. We need to make a $400 billion video game, and you have to buy it. And if you don't buy it, well, guess what? You're the problem. No, that's not how that works.
They're not going to eat the slop anymore. They're going to make you eat the slop like you deserve. I think what a lot of people fail to realize is people They really love their video games. They are very passionate about this hobby. This is the way that they escape. This is the way that they get away from a lot of the problems.
Here's the thing. If you make a brand new game, by all means, screw it up, whatever you want to do if you don't want a fan base, okay? But if you have an old game or a franchise or an IP that everyone loved before you made the piece of shit that you made today, well, then you've made a lot of enemies, right? Hence why Star Wars is a diminishing brand. Hence why Star Trek is a diminishing brand. Hence why Doctor Who is a diminishing brand. Hence why Lord of the Rings is a diminishing brand. Because they take the IP with the baked-in audience and they shit on the audience that was already there to try to get a new audience. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
That plague them in life that now are starting to plague them in games, and that's just not going to work. This is how people make a lot of friends, meet up and hang out with a lot of the friends. I mean, a couple of guys that I know still to this day are people that I played Modern Warfare 1 with way back in the day. And you have a lot of people right now that are just not happy with the direction that the games industry is going in, and they're showing how unhappy.
Right, Wolf, because you're a fan of Mass Effect, right? I love Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 was a disappointment, but it's still good, okay? Andromeda, I enjoyed, but it was, again, another step down. And now Mass Effect 4. So now what we have is Mass Effect 1 and 2, you're like, oh, this is peak. This is peak. And then Mass Effect 3 comes in, it doesn't hit that bar, it's just a little bit lower. Then Andromeda goes a little lower than that. Okay? Now Mass Effect 4 is somewhere in between what these were and what the next one is. But what we want is we want it back to what it is. At least the bar, if not a little bit above. But what they'll do is, well, at least it was better than Andromeda. At least it was better than Andromeda.
They are right now. Now, I'm going to say, I make these videos purely out of selfishness. It's because I want games to get better for me, because
I'm the same. I make the content that I want out of selfishness.
want to play better games. I want more games that are made for me. And I am so lucky, insanely lucky, that I get the amount of support that I get from my audience and from a bunch of other people on YouTube that, you know, there's a lot of people that resonate with the messages that I have, with the discussions that I have, with the opinions that I have, which goes to show that there's...
You heard that they fixed the Mass Effect 3? Sure. Years later. I'm not going to go back and play it. I'm not a person that goes back and plays a lot of games, right? Like, from beginning to end. I don't. I know there's people that do, but that's very few.
It's a lot of people that are out there that feel the exact same way that...
The audio sounds weird. I don't hear it on my end. I'm monitoring it off the stream itself. Just refresh, Jesse.
I do. And that does not mean anything good for the games industry. I'm going to tell you that right now, because I am not a very happy customer. You have to confront that. You have to figure out a way to be able to harness that. I know that that's possible. You can use that to make better games. Tools have never been more available. Information's never been... Knowledge has never been more available. And the ability to get feedback and connect with customers and get a pulse on culture has never been easier to do. It is just a click away. All you have to do is just listen and make better games. All you have to do is just put in the effort to understand and make better games. If we can get away from this self-absorbed games, if we can get away from this self-absorbed games industry that we have been infested by for so long, where people want to have their cake and eat it too, where they think that they can just do whatever they want and that players are going to show up and pay for it. I'm sorry, that's just not how this works. I mean, look at the tens of thousands of indie games that don't get purchased every single year. Most of these guys don't even make
their money back.
The $100 licensing fee to get put onto Steam.
And if you're a person like that, you have to keep going, right? You make your first game, right? Every video I make, I think is the best video I made, but it's not. But in my head, I'm like, what can I do better than last time, right? If you're making a video game and you put 5 years into it, and then your next video game is better than your last video game, well, then you're doing it correctly, right? Maybe you didn't get your money back of the $100 fee, but then your next video game, you put time in, and all of a sudden you broke even. And then you get your next video game and you get 1,000. Maybe you make a really good game and everyone loves it and you basically win the lottery, right? Maybe you win the lottery at that point. And that's where most of these companies are coming from. They want to leave the corporate office, AAA studios, to make their own studio so they don't have to answer to anybody, but they have to answer to people. You know who they have to answer to, chat? They got to answer to us, the consumer. See, The people that leave the big corporate offices don't understand why the corporate office does what they do, right? They make safe products because they want to make the money. Artists want to make the games that they love. But when it comes down to it, they have to make something that's good. And if they don't make it good, then they don't sell. And this is where they don't want to do the thing. They think that if they make the thing, that they're automatically going to make the money. They're like, we're making the best RPG. We're making the best sim game. We're making the best racing game. You don't get to say that you're making the best of anything until the consumers see your product, and then we see it and go, holy shit, that is a good video game. And then when we say it's a good video game, it's not power. It's just that's what it is. Your boss is the consumer. So when you're not answering to the bigwigs, you're answering to the consumers. Right? But they think because they're away from the big guys telling them what to do, though the big guys are telling them what to do because of what the audience wants. They don't get that. They don't get that. So when they're off on their own, they make the stuff they want to make. They think their farts don't stink. They think they're making the best thing ever. And that's not what's happening. Echo chamber.
You have to understand that people are not going to show up for everything. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully people understand why people hate video games or why people are so mad at the games industry right now. Really do hope this message gets through. If you guys enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it on social media. Definitely share it on social media. Share it on all the medias. Make them know. Let them know. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Follow me on Twitter.
So there you go. His link's in the description down below. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe. He makes good content. We watch him every now and then. We have another video, but we're not going to watch it today. We'll probably move it over to tomorrow for Thursday's show. Hal says, Mike, how long do you think before Highguard says, that's it, servers are shutting down? I think it's real soon. I said it wouldn't last 6 months, but we're on a exponentially fast track here. I don't know if they come out with one last thing. Do they even make it to the next chapter, season, whatever the hell they were doing? Maybe. And see if I think that's what they do. I think the next chapter, whatever comes out, is the last thing that comes out because they want to see if it gets some sort of interest. If it gets interest, maybe now that we know 10 cents back in them, maybe they're like, okay, this is what we do. But regardless, it's going to close down. It's like, how much more money do they want to put into this thing that's not going to make money for them? So I think they come out with their next season, and then it closes shortly after that. Travis says 4 days. What? Farts are supposed to stink? The website's still down. They actually said they don't give a shit about the website. There was nothing on the website anyway. There was literally nothing on the website. Roic says they're making games just like to make money and not people to play. It's getting more and more apparent. It's always been that, Roic, but back in the day, there was less games, so there was less opportunity to see people just trying to make a buck and people making video games. But now, because it's the biggest market out there, industry out there, there's people that are not gamers. There are people that don't give a shit about gamers. There are people that don't give a shit about games, investors that they put into the stuff. Look at what happened to Ash of Creations. People from other companies that maybe are like, we can make a lot of money off of this. And there's a lot of that going on. El Dente says the sequel is going to be called Low Guard. Hero says, dang 30. When extremely passionate with that react. Love it. Oh, the operator calling. They need just to release all the content. Why not if you're going to just shut it down? I would assume that they still have servers. They paid for servers for a certain period of time, Eclipse. I would assume that that's why they would do it, just to see. It could be a testing ground for something else down the road. God says, when you actually fight people in the game, you're not running around doing pointless shit and actually kind of fun. Let's see. There was nothing on the website, but yeah, there was nothing on the website, so it doesn't really matter. It's down. Maybe they're like, well, maybe if we get rid of our website, we can stay alive for another 3 days. Website. Oh, pretty pictures. Nope. Cost too much. Pull it down. Yeah. They're like, how can we save a buck? Well, we got rid of half the employees. Well, the internet's $25 a month. Yeah, let's take that down. We can't afford the $25. Somebody needs to buy a microtransaction. We need our website. That's what they should have done. Sorry, our website's down. Can someone please buy a microtransaction? You know, turn into the skid. Turn into the skid. Ash of Creation, what an amazing game. Teaching people not to trust the next moron who sells an MMO in Kickstarter. Or anything. There's going to be a lot of people that are burnt from that. They will never, ever purchase another Kickstarter thing. They will never, ever purchase another MMO thing. They won't even touch a video game. They're going to wait. And you know what? Good. Those people have now seen the light, okay? And now they'll be more cautious with their money. Not to say don't buy video games, but you're going to wait. You're going to see if the game is done or complete. Travis says, crazy idea, but you could have made a good game. But in their head, it was a good game. In their world, it is a good game. Crowded says the Ash of Creation guy needs to be jailed. 100%. Not only does he need to be put in jail, they need to find him. They need to seize his whatever he has, put a hold on anything he's spent, okay, and then get as much money back as possible as the people, and then there needs to be a class action lawsuit against him. Not the company, but him. People need to have him accountable and his husband, okay? I just got an email from Kickstarter to give them my address, so I'm very hopeful that they're also getting what Kickstarter, which was Vampire Survivor board game. Oh, yeah, if it was funded, Eclipse, they're probably reaching out for you for your address so then you can get your board game. All right, so let me ask you guys, right? Let me ask you a question. What was the worst executed game? Or I should say, what was worst executed game from a dev in the last, I don't know, 5 years that you purchased and got dicked over on? If it was Ash of Creations, if it was something you were really excited about, but then all of a sudden it just didn't work out. Sarge says, let him work from jail after he goes to misery on his ankles. Ghost says that the participating trophies should not have been the thing. Always a thing. It's always a thing. It's okay at a young age. It's okay at a young age because you want to motivate kids, right? But it's supposed to stop at a certain age to get them ready for the real world, right? I've talked about this in the past, years ago, right? They've never been told no. They've never been told that they didn't earn something. They all graduated high school. They all went to their job. And when someone goes, you're not qualified, they're like, well, so do I start on Monday? They're like, no, we're not hiring you. So you're saying Tuesday then? I'll be here Tuesday. No, don't come in. You're not qualified, and we're not going to give you the job. I don't know what you're saying to me right now. It sounds like you're telling me I don't have the job. Yeah, you don't have the job. Yeah, but it sounds like you're telling me I don't have the job. Yeah, you don't have the job. Yeah, we're not hiring you. All right, I'll see you Thursday then. Thursday? Okay, my salary, here it is. My mom said that's how much I should get paid. And the guy's like, all right. Yeah, right. It's the red stapler. It's that they don't have the balls to tell them anymore. And then they show up to work and they're like, am I doing a good job? Yeah, you guys ever play, not Roller Coaster Tycoon, Planet Coaster? You ever play Planet Coaster? Me and my son joke about this. We'll show up to a theme park or whatever. And if you play Planet Coaster and you watch the characters walk around, they're like this. They're like, they're just all hyped and super happy. They're just walking down, they're looking around. They're just oblivious to whatever. They're just like, okay. That is what the industry thinks of you. That's what they think you are. That is everybody there. They're like, I'm just going to show up. That's what they think of you. I've actually had that. This dude said his mom said he deserved better hourly wage. I'm like, great. Tell your mom to come in. Tell your mom to come in. Jesse says, 30 off-topic news. Disney World responds to woman's $50,000 lawsuit alleging that she was permanently injured on Magic Kingdom's trolley tracks. I love people like this. I love people like this that they sue because they got a kink in their neck. Like, I had a stiff neck last week. Can I sue the pillow company or the bed company, even though I've had the bed for 12 years and I've had the pillow for 6? Okay. It's like, can I sue them for giving me a stiff neck? Not what I did working out, straining or something like that. Can I sue if I sprained my ankle getting out of my car? Can I sue the car company because I sprained my ankle? Like, I hate this shit. Obviously, it tells you there's a big board of rules and things that says, you could get a back injury, neck injury, if you're pregnant, whatever, all this other shit. Okay. And these people are just like, I'm looking for a payday. I'm looking for a payday. This big corporation's going to give me my money. And then people want to know why the ticket prices are $160. Do you know how many lawsuits that Disney's in right now? And look, I love shitting on Disney. Don't get me wrong. Right? But there's people suing for so stupid things, for stupidity, for being I didn't see the sign. Hero says Forspoken was pretty shit too. Did you get Forspoken, or are you saying that because you saw other people play it? Altern says, but Americans don't sue. What other sport do they have then? It's true. It's a sport of suing. Roic says that's as stupid as a person saying suing McDonald's because they got burnt by hot coffee. The thing that says hot coffee, yeah. Well, did you see, Roic? One time, someone sued McDonald's because they got fat. Have you seen that before? Yeah, they sued McDonald's because they got fat. Not that the person did it to themselves by eating at McDonald's every single day. They sued McDonald's because they got fat. I would sue them back and say it's because they're dumb, but that's just me. Ghost says, I'm gonna sue a shampoo company, Old Spice, because I'm bald. You know, I could do that. I could sue that. I could do that as well. Maybe we'll make it a class action lawsuit, Ghost. It's so ridiculous, right? It's so stupid. Speaking of stupid, I created a second album. Okay. I created a second album. It's called Perk Up and Press Play. It's on Spotify right now. All the songs that you guys hear in the middle, in the beginning of the show. If you guys want to listen to it, this is not a purchase thing. This is go listen to it, download it for free. Okay. You can listen to it if you have Spotify. You're already paying Spotify. Go listen to the album. We got a couple things. I got to tell you the story here. This one was called PC Master Race. They would not let me publish it. Okay, because it said Master Race on it. So I had to change the name to PC Elite because they didn't like the term Master Race. True story. True story. But 19 tracks on the new album. You've heard 7 of them before. The rest of them are actually out now that you can listen to it. So go check it out. Link in the description down below. Helps us out here. Yeah, I couldn't put PC Master Race. They literally sent me an email and said, you have to change the name of the song. I was like, all right, fine. Travis says, in fairness, it's a lie anyway. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's the name of the fucking song, Travis. It doesn't matter what you think is a lie or not a lie. The song is literally, it's literally called. It's a PC Master Race. That's the lyrics.
Brighten up the day with a cup of tea. RGB lights smiling back at me. Got the tower humming, looking proper nice. Console lads crying, blimey, what's the price? Click of the mouse and we're off to the races. Screen so sharp you can see the faces. Oh, love, and the frame rate hits the stride. Feels like the whole UK's on my side. Oh, no frame cap's gonna hold us down.
It's good.
We're
I like
running
it.
this town.
I'm smelling my own farts, though.
Sweet Lord, the power, the grace, that glorious PC crown. We're the PC master race. Gloriously smooth in a digit.
So there you go. There's a little sample for you. See, the problem is you make a lie enough at times that people think it's true. Well, it's a song, and I could go deeper down this rabbit hole, but I won't. Jesse Mack says you should make a song about High Guard. Jesse, are you joking? Are you joking? That is track number 8 on the brand new album called Mid Guard to High Guard. Are you joking? Did you not know I made a song of High Guard? That is track number 8 on the list. Did you honestly not make a? Did you not know I made a song about High Guard? Of course I made a song about High Guard. Yeah, it's a good tune too. See, what I like about my music, you guys help with the music without even knowing, right? The songs that I make on here are like custom made for our channel. Okay, from the topics we talk about to the things you guys say to all the stuff, they're in the songs. Aku says, when you can overclock for the extra 5% performance on PlayStation 5 Pro, got to come and talk to the PC Master Race guys. Then pay us royalties if you were helping make it. Sure. How much of a 0.5% would you like of a penny? Did you actually do anything? I'll split the profit. You come up with a song, Dupless. I will split the revenue with you. Okay, here. This is Midgard right here.
In a vest. They say trust us, yeah, we've heard that before. Same old story from the corporate store. Call it Midgard, not quite there. Call it overguard, overpromise there. Call it high watch, just watching it fall. But they still call it high guard, like it's standing tall. Free to play, but it's paying in time. Not complete, not polished, not ready to shine. They say it's gold, but it's barely bronze. High guard name, but the hype is gone.
So there you go. There's High Guard for you. Dupless, I don't know if you saw this, but if you write something in my chat, I can make a song about that. I can make a song about that. You're in my channel. That's how it works. Yeah, I'm working on a Ash of a Creation one. Yeah. I'm working on an Ash of a Creation one. Make a song about Crimson Desert, Midserd. Anything. Yeah, anything. We've been making for over a year and a half now, songs. And we've gotten pretty goddamn good, I have to say. pretty goddamn good from the early renditions of what we used to do, from like IGN 7 out of 10 to what we have now. We've come a long way. El Dente says, asking for royalties for being an inspiration is insane. Well, I know Dupless is joking. Third, if we could get the Ash of Creation IP, have an idea for a game. Well, the guy that owns it, whatever, the Robert, whatever it was when we watched the thing yesterday, he owns the brand now, the IP. I think he might still do something with it, but the problem is the developers don't even want to come back and work for him. They got burnt. They're worse than the gamers that get burnt by a company. Yeah, so real quick, again, you guys know I don't really promote my stuff very often. I like try, but we have a lot of songs. This is like an hour, a little over an hour for the 19 tracks here. We have singles up there as well. All this is underneath, and then we have volume 1 over here, which is it's got 20 songs over here. So you got 20 songs on the original album. Then you got 19 songs on the other album. Then you have singles. Some of the singles are in the new album. So 2 full albums. 2 full albums on there to listen to. And they're catchy. Will you sue 30 for giving you inspiration and not giving me royalties? Sure, let's try it. Let's try it. I know Dupless. Let me tell you guys something. Dupless and El Dente have been with me probably the longest. Dupless has been a part of my stream. We're going back to, what, 2015, 2016, Dupless? I've met Dupless multiple times. We've had lunch, and we've gone to and met each other at conventions and stuff like that. So Dupless is old school. So I don't take anything Dupless says, to heart, because I know who he is. And that's not an insult to him. Has someone checked Jeff since Highguard flop? Is he okay? Yeah, I think he's fine. Yeah, Dupless has been here a long time. From the original channel to from Twitch to YouTube, back to Mixer, over to he's been with me the entire time. Oh, is anybody going to, what's the one over here? MegaCon? Anyone going to MegaCon here in Orlando? If anyone's coming to Orlando for MegaCon, let me know, because we'll meet up. We can meet up. El Dente says that's true. I also know Dupless was joking. Yeah, 100%. Eclipse says, oh yeah, I was crying so hard with all the 100 bills. He was using to wipe his ass. I have not. No, I have. Chaka Khan. MegaCon's one of the biggest, I think it is. It's like, there's Comic-Con, obviously, that's in San Diego. MegaCon's like the biggest cosplay, also celebrities to come and sign your stuff and stuff like that. It's a massive convention. I know who Chaka Khan is. All right, let's go to Twitter real fast and see what's going on over on Twitter. Let's see. Let's go to Highguard real fast just to check in from. Let's do it live on the stream. They have 1,000 guys. I'm gonna refresh. Is it higher or lower? Higher or lower? Highguard lower than 1,000 or higher than the 1,004? Let me see what you guys. Let's get a poll going here. Let's get a poll. No one cheat now. All right. Okay. Here's the poll. Is it higher or lower? High guard total players, is it higher or lower than 1,004? We haven't refreshed yet. High guard. High guard. Let's see what you guys have. That's close. We got 26 people here in chat right now. 26 people. Let's see. We got half the people voting. Some people are voting and then not voting. It's bold. It's bold. Let's see. We'll give it a couple more seconds. Kylo says $1, Bob. We'll give it a couple more seconds. We've got about half of the people watching. $857. That's how many. Travis looked it up. If he's at the exact number, he's a douchebag, and we'll time him out. All right, here we go. We're going to end the poll and see what it is. Here we go. Let's refresh. 882. There you go. So if you picked lower, you win. It's a good guess. It's a good guess. 857. 882. Yeah, this game's done. Man. Travis is actually pretty good at guessing stuff. All right, let's see what's happening here. Developer update. Servers, the Season of 18 Act 3 delay. Some changes to what you can also expect in Season 19 compared to what was in previous revealed in VI Insider program. Didn't we watch this?
Some commonly raised bug reports.
Just a couple weeks ago?
We need to talk about Season 19. Strap in. So, last month, alongside some...
Has it been a month already since we watched the last one? The hell's going on, chat?
Spicy doubloon news, I shared an update on player encounters and
how
the seas have just been feeling quieter than they should. The team have been making some improvements in this area to optimize how we matchmake and migrate crews.
We've sped it up to 1.5
across servers, with the goal of creating busier servers with more ships on the horizon. As part of our last update in January, we rolled out some improvements behind the scenes to begin optimizing at the top end for more 6-ship servers. And while we didn't call out this change publicly, it's been great seeing players already feel their servers come to life a little more. In our next update, there'll be further improvements.
El Dente says, I need him to wear a hat. His forehead tip bothers me. Yeah, the tattoos on his head, man. I mean, that's bold. There's not very many jobs you can get with that, with the tattoos like that. Can you imagine if I had a tattoo like that? You would just, whatever. I mean, I'm bald. I was thinking about shaving my head, I'll be honest with you. I was thinking about just bicking it.
First will be to begin tweaking how close we can bring in other crews during migration. Previously, we didn't allow crews to migrate onto a server anywhere near other players, but we've been a bit overzealous here and can bring that distance in. Of course, we'll ensure we find the sweet spot where you see more sails on the horizon, but don't feel like ships are catching you by surprise by arriving too close. This will mean we've got more space on servers to bring new crews in.
Yeah, but the problem is, El Dente, I'm not married to you. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, you've been saying it for years, but I don't share a bed with you, and my wife likes my hair the way it is. So there's that. So, but if I was sleeping with you, then maybe I would listen to you.
And can optimize even further for that 6-ship target. The second area will be to focus on the servers at the bottom end that have fewer crews on them. We'll be tweaking the parameters on when ships are eligible to migrate naturally, so we can more quickly move those crews onto more busier servers.
It's not a comeback. That's what it is, Altern. The reason I don't do it is because my wife likes the way I am right now.
Servers, and then optimize the
God bless anyone out there that can find someone like that.
Servers themselves to make sure they're prioritizing clearing out players onto busier servers and not hanging around for too long. There are lots of experimental changes taking place here behind the scenes, and the team will be doing lots of tweaking and monitoring in the live game to get the levels right. This phase of work is very much focused on optimizing the system we have, and we feel that we can get a lot of value from this without really changing the gameplay on the surface. Now, that doesn't mean that more player-facing changes aren't on the cards in the future.
Sea of Thieves is going through some changes here. Are they going to show anything? No, I don't care. I think what's going to happen here with with Sea of Thieves. They're putting that six ship battle, which they had, I don't know, 5 years ago when they had that whole ordeal when they were doing the PvP type of stuff. And now they're trying to do something else now. I don't think it's going to work out for them, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Legitimately forgot that Xbox Game Pass price hike 50% to $30, which, yes, does seem kind of nuts. Yes, they also added some good games quite late, but no one has the time to stack dozens of 50 to 100-hour games in reality. Oh, now we're talking about time, huh, guys? Who brought up time all the time? Who's that streamer that brought up all the time? I can't think of his name. Maybe it'll come to me later. Let's see. What is that game? Square Enix Killer In flops hard. Concord 3.0 levels. What's Killer In? I haven't even heard of that. Is that another game that's like a hero shooter? What else we got here? Oh, I saw the trailer yesterday for the Grogu Mando movie that's coming out. I said this a little bit last night. They showed way too much. They show way too much in the trailer. Like, I just don't understand why they show so much. I said this last night. Was it last night? I think I said it last night. A trailer is supposed to give you a tease, right? If you get all the goods, then there's no reason to continue trying to go watch it. Because if I see everything in the trailer, it gets past the point, and again, this is just my opinion. If you tease me enough, I'm going to be like, that's interesting. I'm going to go watch it. But if you show me all the stuff, the good, the bad, the terrible, in your trailer, then I don't need to go see your movie. Now, I'm probably going to go watch this movie because I'm trying to have a panel where Greg Owen, Fake Wizard, and myself, and maybe Kinger, I don't know if he's going to go watch it, but talk about the actual film. Okay? So I might watch it to monetize, okay, just to talk about it. But as a fan of Star Wars, looking at that, it wasn't very good to entice me to go watch that movie. It did the opposite, actually. I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't know if I want to go watch that. You said it last night. Okay. I mean, it's probably going to be good. It looks like a Western, which is probably the best Star Wars. It looks, to me, Eclipse, it looks a little too cheesy. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's jokes and stuff that happened in Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6 originally that were like funny because it just what it was. It was like just like a little bit of a tease type of humor. This is like they're trying to make the humor. They're forcing the humor. Alternate says, can you sue Disney because the trailer made you feel disgusted? I was like, ugh, God, what did I just watch? Yeah. 30 website developer Cody32 created and hosted a high guard website. So they probably didn't get paid and closed it off. Yeah, well, they didn't do much on it anyway, right? I think the website's the least of their problems. Jesse says the Fantastic Four First Steps did that too. I saw the movie of Fantastic Four. I thought it was actually a pretty good standalone movie. The problem, one, I don't like Pedro Pascal, but he actually did pretty good in the film. The movie itself was good. It felt like a movie that should have been in phase 1. But overall, it's just another Marvel movie. It's just like whatever. El Dente says, I've watched it. I'll watch it when it comes out. I've seen all I've seen. Big Mo says, you got 2 hours and 31 minutes worth of music. Not bad, sir. I think I got more than that. Because there's singles out there too, but you can't count the doubles, right? I don't know how. I think this one is, Yeah, this one's 50. The first album's 57 minutes and 18 seconds. The second one's an hour and 2. So you got 2 hours there, and maybe I do. Yeah, I guess it is the 36. You're right. You're right, Mo. I shouldn't have doubted you. I shouldn't have doubted you. Altern says, I mean, their website was just their faces and a few letters. That's it. You already have the Steam page. It's the same thing. Yep, true. True. Sarge says, I'm worried about the movie, bro. I don't think it's what people think it will be. I mean, I'm not thinking of anything. I think it's a springboard into what they want the next generation of Star Wars to be. I think that's what it is. It's a springboard for that. Yeah, some are doubled because they were singles, and now it's an album. Yeah. And I could have added one more. I wanted to do Nothing Means Anything Anymore and put it in there. But the problem with that is there was a problem with the upload that they wouldn't allow me to upload as many songs as I did at once. And I contacted them and they gave it back and said, okay, we'll let it happen this time, but they won't let it happen again. So it was just a little bit behind the scenes. I was like, all right, well then I'll take one out and I'll just make it 19 instead of 20. Alter says 2 hours and 30 songs for Star Wars Grogu movie with the same amount of time. And you know which one is worth more. I do. According to Copilot, Timmy Studio Group, a subsidiary of Tencent Games, was the primary financial backer for Wildlife Entertainment and the game of Highguard. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I have no problem. I have no problem with Tencent funding the company. I said this earlier, Z. I have a problem that Jeff Keighley was promoting the game, right? And everyone's like, oh, he gave it to free. And you're like, well, he could do it because it's his company or whatever. But Tencent sits on the board. And they didn't come out and say Tencent was funding it. They said it was a independent studio. It's I love the game, you're gonna love it too type of stuff. And then they didn't do anything with it. They hyped it up as like these guys are groundbreaking and try to sell you on this thing. And then you find out that Tencent's on the board and they promoted it because, well, it's a free-to-play game. And Tencent's like, hey, Jeff, you think you could do this? He's like, of course. Right? It looks a little shitty, doesn't it? Again, they can do whatever they want. I don't care if it's independent or not independent. I'm not buying a game because it's independent. I'm not buying a game or anything. It's a free-to-play game. But it looks a little odd that you gave one of your board of directors, who sits on the board of your award show, one of their games they've invested in, the last spot, and you didn't charge them anything, type of thing. I mean, he can do what he wants. It's his show. It just comes off. Hence why they didn't say anything. They wanted you to believe that he found this himself, and it was so good. It was just so good, he had to share it with you. It appears to be a project funding in the studio financing. Hi, Gerd. Hi, Gerd. Thank you, Kingard, for the joke that never ends. $110, not indie. The price doesn't matter about indie. The price has nothing to do with indie. Indie truly means like Expedition 33 technically is not an indie studio because they took money from, was it Kepler? Okay, even if it was $10 million, it's an indie studio. There's a lot going on between saying that a company is indie. Indie is self-publishing and all this other stuff. They didn't take money from anybody, right? So, as a percent. But game companies that help other ones. Now, I would still say Kepler, even though Kepler, I think, took money from NetEase to get started, if I'm not mistaken, right? So Kepler took money from NetEase. NetEase is a giant conglomerate. Kepler got started because of NetEase. Kepler funded Expedition 33 for Expedition 33. So yes, they're an independent studio, and yes, they're not with one of the AAA studios that's promoting it and publishing it and all that stuff. So you can say that they're independent still, but there's like a blurred line in between there. Indie studios are independent studios where there's no big guy doing anything for them. They did it themselves. I said this earlier about people saying indie is like saying organic for food in the grocery store. The grocery store says, oh, these apples are organic. These eggs are organic. It's organic or it's organic, right? It's all, now it doesn't, organic doesn't mean the same thing as organic made before. Because now there's all these like stipulations and rules and different things that change, right? They say organic so they can charge more. They can do more. Well, now it's the new thing, right? We hate AAA. So now they're like, oh, indie developer, got an indie developer. You're going to buy this indie developer. Indie developers are coming up. They're using it as the organic label. Altern says, like we said yesterday, this is the cousin of the owner who got the spot for free because he owns the company. Yes. Which happens all the time, by the way. Happens all the time. But that's what the industry is doing, in my opinion. They're using the independent label as the organic label in groceries and food in the space. They're trying to be the hip, the cool. You know what I mean? They're trying to be like, people like indie, so well, let's go hard on indie. Let's talk about the indie this, indie that, right? We're with you. We're making more games for you. This is it. And then Tencent and EA and all these other companies are like, let's make an indie game. Let's get that indie company. Let's do the indie thing. That's what it is. March 18th and 19th are going to be awesome. Invincible Season 4, March 18th, and Crimson Desert, March 19th. I think you're going to be sick that day, right, Water Bear? March 19th, you're going to be sick? I think, what? I can hear a cough coming on. Are they trying to give indie bad name so people go back to buying AAA games and trust them more? Well, I think this is why Tencent wasn't acknowledged and it was secret that they were independent. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They're using not to tarnish it, because remember, not everyone watches podcasts and stuff like this, right? The average person doesn't know anything. They're like, oh, a brand new game. Highguard, independent developer. Like, oh, I've heard that before. Indie game. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I want to support an indie game. Right? But then you find out it's really not indie. Right? It's one of the big guys out there. They're all connected, by the way. They're all connected in some way, shape, or form. Right? Yeah, it's like 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon. What's going on, Hermes? I have 12 vacation days available. I think in match, I will just have 2 left. You're gonna go hard in for Crimson Desert. Not on drugs, just not Invincible guy. Maybe if you ever watch past season 1. You're taking all of March off. You have 21 days paid off? Man, that's nice. Oh, you have 12, not 21. 12. I'm dyslexic. I'm just, not really. I just read it wrong. So I'm going to just say bacon. I think it's time for lunch. Is it? It's 12:30. It is time for lunch. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I don't know what I'm going to eat now. All right. I think that's going to do it for us today. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We go over a little bit every day, every single day. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We'll be back tonight over on 30 and Still Gaming. We're going to be playing some games with Sarge. I don't know what it is, but it's called Shooting the Shit with Sarge. So it's a double meaning, because we talk, which is shooting the shit, and then we shoot the shit in video games. So we'll be playing a video game tonight. And then tomorrow morning, we'll be back for the daily grind for the last day of the week for Thursday. And then tomorrow evening, Thursday night, we have a Generation X Gaming podcast. So make sure you guys subscribe to that. Hit all the things down below. Leave a comment in the videos if you guys like the videos and whatnot. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night. Check out the album as well over on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all the other places. You can listen to it. You don't have to download it. If you want to download it, you can download it, but you can also stream it if you already pay for one of the streaming services. It's there for you. And if you don't want to go there, I don't know if it's up on, let me check if it is. I don't know if it's on YouTube yet. Let me see. 30 NSG topic. It is not. It's not there yet, I don't think. Yeah, it's not up there yet. It'll be there in a couple days or so. You can listen to it on YouTube as well under YouTube Music. Appreciate it very much. Peace out.
They said it was the best deal in gaming. Funny how best cuts your heart. I bought a dream, but the price kept climbing. Locked inside a system, all the fun was declining. Pay to connect, even solo feels like a test. Greed in the code, yeah, it never rests. Subscription chains holding me tight. All the value promised gone overnight. We played by the rules, they laughed as I bled. Greed's a disease, planting seeds instead. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the feed. Remember for greed, we only got the feed. Console prices rise and trust runs dry. Studios vanish, but they still reach sky. Pain in floods while the fun slips away. Dreams sold in pieces, left in shades of gray. It's every update, promised a shiny new hope. Buried in fine print, they tightened the rope. We played, they profited. It's an old dirty game, generation of greed. Remember the name, all the value promised is now all fake. Loyalty used, how much more can I take? Greed in the system, no one escapes. Players rise up, time to reshape. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the feed. Remembered for greed, we only got the feed. Greed in the code built into the plan. Microfees ripped right from our hands. We loved our games, they love the cash now. Loyalty burns at corporate crash. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the feed. The best deal